Friends, if you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember Mad Magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever it is, where you is in the crazy world we live in today. I'm Tom Connors. With me is my favorite orange guy in the world, Clobbering Times.
Hey, thanks for having me, buddy. Good to see you. Good to see you, CC, and the lovely Six, who was here somewhere. And
she was here and she scooted to the back.
Oh, I got you. Love you, Six. Good to see you. Thank you, Tom. And hello, everybody out there in the chat. Good to see you. Clobber on.
Yes, we're glad to have you. And also, as you said, we have CC Karaoke joining us from the Great White North. How's it going?
It's going all right. Been keeping it easy all week. Unfortunately, yeah. No, I've just been reading visual novels and not working too much. So it's been good. Yeah. Looking forward to talking about whatever we talk about today.
Well, James Gunn had an interview. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Marvel's been doing some shifting of its schedule. We're going to discuss that a little bit. And then we'll just talk about whatever comes up. You know, shit happens. Those are the only plans I really have offhand. Andre went and saw The Flash, so I sent him the link. So if he's not busy, maybe he'll pop in and say what he thought about it. So, yeah, we have that plausibility. But I see we have a cast of thousands, or at least 179 in the chat already. Welcome, everybody. I see we got D-Bud Martin swinging a wrench around there. We got Goddess of Whim. We got Arc Phoenix, if that's how I'm saying it right. Toxic Waltz, Lance Corporal Waffles. Christopher Dominguez is here. Welcome. Max Mercer. We got Hack Sewer. Gregor Mowers. Valentine's Tube is here. We got Snowdub in the house. How you doing, Snowdub? Hamdinger is here, and so am I. Yes, that's true. Josh Post is here. G-Dog is here. G-Dog, and that's right. Check out our sponsor, Flip City, if you haven't already. We got Coco Dragon, or is it Cocho Dragon? I've heard it pronounced a couple different ways, so want to get it right. We got Morgan King in the house. How you been? Project Cambrian's here. War Monkey's here. Rachel Harris is here. Unlimited Power is here. Cartoon Man's here. How you doing, Pete Den Cat? Some of the regulars showing up here I see now. Thank you for being here. Greasy Pan Ham's here. USS Cushing? That's probably what it is. Jen's here. Welcome. Thank you for being here, guys. No super chats to kick off the show. And I don't think we have any member chats yet. So we're just going to move right into the basics of the program here.
Now there's super chats.
Oh, is there a super chat now? Oh, here we go. Goddess Wim says, so Gotham Knights is canceled, the surprise of no one. Yeah. But Superman and Lois did get one more season, at least for now. So for those who are fans of that show, that's a good news for you. But if you were fans of the Gotham Knights show, yeah, that's not going no place. And I'm not surprised, as you said, Goddess of Whim, a lot of these shows are not going to survive. And we're going to kind of discuss some of that stuff when we talk about James Gunn here in just a few minutes. G-Dog's in the house, and he sends us a super sticker. Let me see if I can see what it is. Oh, I'm not even on the stream thing. It might help if I was, you know. No, I don't want to listen to a commercial right now. There's a thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. Share out the link too if you haven't done that. Let everybody know we're live. I see Zax is here now. I see J Roar. Welcome to the program, guys. So glad to see some more regulars here. We got Tender Warrior 68, Baza the Great. Welcome. Nicholas Horton's here. Aaron Retliff's here. LQ3. That's a new name, isn't it? But I recognize the icon. Yeah. I see. So welcome everybody. So am I the only one who watched this James Gunn interview with former Lex Luthor? Yeah, this dropped early this morning. I want to say around 8 or 9-ish, depending on your time zone.
So who was it? An interview with whom?
James Gunn with the Michael Rosenbaum. He's got a podcast that he does.
Okay, yeah.
And he was on there talking to him for about an hour or so.
He also played the Flash.
Yeah,
did he? The voice of the Flash on the
oh, that's right. Yeah. Now that you mentioned, I forgot all about that. Jen says, when do you do your 4K for You show? I always seem to miss it. Well, Jen, it's every Wednesday on this channel at 6, same time as this show, pretty much 6 Central. So pretty much tomorrow at the same time. But it seems to be a show that we don't get a lot of people watching when it's live, but it does get a great response afterwards, which is nice. So thank you for asking that. And yeah, if you want to check us out on 4K for You, it's normally, but tomorrow, it's funny you ask, because tomorrow there won't be a 4K for You probably. And that's because I will be joining the court over on Film Threat again. So hopefully you guys check me out over there. Because I had a fun time last time and they're glad to have me back. So I'm glad to be back. And speaking of people being back, we got Nick Weiser back. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, Tom? Clobby, CC Karaoke. Hello, chat. Hello, excellent wrenches. I have officially came.
All over the chat's neck and face.
What's up, Buds? D-Bud, Goddess. Saw you there. Zax, what's up, Zax? Dude, Zax had the greatest stream ever that I'm going to do an EFAP on as well. I'm not going to tell you why, Tom, but all I know is we got to talk about it. It's huge. And I met Snowdub last week. What's up, Snowdub?
EFAP on what now?
I'll explain later. Trust me. Okay. It's so huge. You will not believe it. Or maybe you will. I don't know. We'll talk.
I missed what you said at first, so yeah. All right. Anyhow, moving on with the news here. One thing to kick things off that I thought was kind of funny. Supposedly Disney accidentally in quotations, right? Like accidentally cast a porn star in The Little Mermaid. And the reason I say accidentally is because it's a gay porn star, of course. Dante Ferrari, who was cast as a mermaid in the film. Or actually,
so not the actual Little Mermaid.
Yeah, no. Stefano Tomadini is his straight gig name, I guess. And I don't mean that under the non-homosexual. I mean non-porn.
Yeah, no.
Non-porn name.
Non-porn. Yeah.
But I guess it didn't take many Google searches to find this out. So yeah, source told the Sun paper casting bosses decided to hire a number of really sexy male models to play mermen in the movie. They had no idea about Stefano's racy videos, and given The Little Mermaid is the big summer blockbuster for kids, it's a bit embarrassing for Disney. Sure, they didn't know.
Sure.
While filming in the movie,
they expect us to be stupid and pretend we didn't know about it.
Yeah. Again, I'm sure they knew. He was probably cast for that very reason. I love how they cast sexy men because they can't cast sexy women, you know. That was the other thing that stuck out to me.
Big old double standard nowadays.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of a funny little bit to start off the show with. Yeah, the female gaze is okay.
It is, and you know everyone is entitled to the male or female gaze, whichever you prefer. but they are both allowed to exist on this planet, despite what anyone says. Do not listen to them.
So anyhow, so like Nick, I was asking these guys before the show. I take it you didn't probably get a chance to see the James Gunn interview with Michael Rosenbaum either. The drop this morning.
I actually was intending to check that out, and I only caught very select excerpts from it. I did want to actually hear more from it. One part that I only heard like 2 minutes, and one of it was him talking about there's too much superhero content, and for me, I wouldn't care if there's too much of it if I was enjoying it. I think it just adds insult to injury when there's so much of it and it's not good. That's my real issue. But sometimes when there's too much of something, the quality can die in something. I mean, once upon a time, people used to rave about McDonald's being a genuinely amazing burger, but then all those restaurant expansions, may have diminished the quality. I don't know. I wasn't there at that time, so I can have information back that. But I get the point that many
back when they actually made it out of real meat.
To me. Yeah, I get the point that many people were trying to lay out to me, and maybe that is the case. Pretend that is the case, that it's something that is just a diminished product. Now that said, though, I've had times where I've enjoyed many comics, so maybe that's just me, though. I like to think that it's just that it's not good, because I do believe there's an audience that is willing to see these things. It's just they need to be interested and excited to see it. But if there's any other bits I should know about that was spoken on Gunn, I'd like to know.
As it goes, as probably several audience members who follow the news may know, pretty much, if there was anything of real value in it, it was going to make all the headlines. There wasn't a whole lot. In fact, I can break down for you guys pretty quickly all the new or confirming information or whatever you want to call it. Some of it's a little bit more confusing, if you ask me, out of this whole interview. So basically, the big piece that everybody's picking up on is the whole Blue Beetle business, and to me, it's kind of funny because this is what I posted on Twitter, and I'm like, well, in the same interview, practically in the same sentence, he says Blue Beetle will be the first character in the DC universe. He goes, I mean, the first DCU character for sure is Blue Beetle, and the first full DCU movie is Superman. What the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah, that makes no sense. Like, how is it that movie that is getting a theatrical release is the sort of real movie, but then Superman Legacy into that makes absolutely. I would like to see where the dots connect to make that make sense. I would love to see it. Seriously, I'm open to having my mind changed. But that comment makes no sense.
I mean, I guess you could break it down and think of it as, okay, so maybe that means the Blue Beetle will show up again, but any connections this has to the previous universes are non-existent going forward. Because basically, as I've been hearing and he's been kind of hinting at and I've been kind of implying, Superman is the beginning of the DCU, kids. It's basically a hard reboot. But then again, in the same interview, he convolutes some things, which he's been doing a lot lately. As Clobby, you're about to say something. Go ahead.
No. So you're absolutely right about Superman. Starts and stops with him.
Is this just a matter of release schedule that Blue Beetle is coming out first, despite the fact he intends Superman to kick it off?
Yeah, this was already being made way before he was ever. You there, Tom?
I get. Yeah, this had nothing to do with him, really. At the end of the day, Saffron, I think, is the only connection here.
Yeah,
I get why this is being put out as far as they were, as far as it being developed and made. I get why they're releasing it, but the fact that it's been this back and forth thing, whereas that the Creature Commandos was the first thing about being involved in it, and then Superman Legacy is the first major deal thing, I guess, as far as live action. Now we switched it over to Blue Beetle. It just honestly sounds like trying to save face on the movie, because obviously the pre-sale numbers for Not Flash are not there. Not Flash, not there. See what I did there? And they're trying to very, very hard recoup any losses possible, because obviously the Fury of the Gods lost a lot of money, and I have a feeling not Flash is gonna at best underperform, and it doesn't seem like this one is gonna maybe do the same.
It's funny you mentioned that because they updated the projections on the Flash. It did go up a little bit. It went up to 70 million now, so it went up 10 million. And Elemental went down 5 million.
That's like that gets an Owen Wilson. Wow.
Wow, that's almost a lot.
Wow.
So yeah, no, at the end of the day, I mean, okay, so the other implications and things he talked about in this interview was he brought up, just talked a little bit about his, his career overall, being fired from Marvel temporarily, and how that all played out in his life, and how kind of that was kind of the start of a new James Gunn, kind of a new person. And being somebody who's a former addict, he kind of used that as a kind of a basis for this, resurgence of himself again. So, the rebirth of sorts. And then he talks about his wedding and a bunch of the people that were involved with, backing him up when he was canceled. And then he talked about DC and confirmed some things that I had heard basically. And that was, they asked him early on and he said, nope, not interested. Same thing about Superman. He first turned it down too, which we also learned, of course, from other, I think he posted that on Twitter or some other interview before. But then finally, and I'm sad that Script isn't here because he'd get a, I fucking knew it, because he was the one that posited initially, and I agreed with him that the idea of working with Peter Safran is what got him to take this job. And that's pretty much what he had confirmed, is that after talking with Safran for a while, because at first neither one of them wanted to take it on, but then they talked about it, and he basically said what we had kind of discussed and surmised, and that was that, Gunn will handle the creative side, Safran will handle the business side. And then he just talked about just juggling everything, and then he then is when he got kind of into some of the convolution, because Michael asked him, when he goes, so is Peacemaker 2 dead? And he said, no, Peacemaker 2 isn't dead. He goes, I go right from Superman into that. So he is going to do Peacemaker season 2 supposedly after Superman. And then he was asked about Suicide Squad 2, and he said, no, there will be no Suicide Squad 2. And then he confirmed basically what I'd been implying all this time, and that is the Amanda Waller series will be the de facto Suicide Squad series.
Yeah.
Like a pseudo sequel of sorts.
Kind of. It's just basically all the characters,
kind of
any of the Suicide Squad characters will vicariously show up through and be used or introduced through there. And that's what I kind of implied to begin with, is like, I can see that being that, right? She's the central character. You can shift the rest of the cast as needed. Other than that, he did bring up that he's not writing anything for Wonder Woman. That was kind of one thing he did bring up in a midst of everything. So that's kind of obviously in the back burner. He didn't confirm or say anything about Batman, so there was nothing brought up about Batman. I know that's a big bunch of talk going on right now. I know, Nick, you even posted something about the same kind of rumors I was hearing about. I don't buy into it at all. It makes no fucking sense whatsoever. Even the end of the movie sounds convoluted. In fact, if anything, Andre hasn't seen my messages yet, but he confirmed basically a few other things that I had heard and knew or figured. And that is obviously that the Snyder cut is not canon. This movie treats Justice League as canon. As I was told by my source, flat out, that the Snyder cut is not fucking canon. No matter how much these guys want it to be, it's not fucking canon. And this movie refers directly to Justice League, I guess is what Andre was saying. And he goes, and it doesn't matter. At the end of the movie, it's all erased anyway. So
they'll just say that this isn't canon. That's fantastic. I love it. No matter how bad the movie is, I like it for that.
I'm gonna have a heart attack on stream right now.
And that was something I was told flat out, like under no circumstances that's not even debatable. Like, because I've asked people like about, and that's why Snyder, I guess, had such a hard time doing his fan event thing. He had to basically set it up as like a private screening kind of thing, because Warner Brothers will not allow people to show the Snyder cut publicly in theaters. Like, you can't request a print of it. You can get the Justice League version of it.
So I've heard of a few people who have seen the movie, and they see who comes out of the let's just say the vehicle, that scene, that one scene in that one movie, and I've been told it's that one guy. Why?
Yeah, I've had it confirmed by several people. Makes no fucking sense.
And to me, it's just like, at first I'm like, okay, you know, maybe it is BS. Maybe it is. I'm willing to entertain because it makes no sense. But now I'm hearing more saying,
oh, it's in there.
That's who pops
I'm
up.
just arguing. It makes no fucking sense.
That's what I mean. That's even worse because it makes sense because him and that other guy are the same character.
Exactly. Like, I don't care what they kind of try to retroactively do. I got 2-3 box sets downstairs that say otherwise. Those movies are in the same continuity, regardless of how you want to treat the lead actor. I think everybody's kind of aware of what we're talking about by now. But we'll try not to spoil it for those who are still trying to say the least bit. Look, not only beyond that, let's get beyond that crap. Okay, let's just chuck all that rest of that stuff up to, okay, fine, I'll accept that. Dude is way too old to be having kids. Especially kids that are as young as the kid's supposed to be in the next movie. Look, I get it. Men can have kids until the day they die, but
of course,
I have a hard time believing that somebody's going to be mentoring their son and being 70 years old, and their kid's 15, 16, 17 years old. I just don't see that, especially when I think James Gunn has already specifically said they're going to be looking for a Batman in their 35 to 40 range, I think he said, if I remember right. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong.
He said early 30s.
So yeah, like I said,
being like
cat's out the bag what we're talking about here. Yeah.
No.
I do not see any of this shit in Flash leading anywhere, kids, no matter what anybody wants to believe or tell you.
No.
It's not going anywhere. Just like he ain't coming back. Like, I saw him out on stage with the video. Six sent it to me, and a few other people posted it. And I'm just like, he's sitting here thanking everybody for, what was it, discretion and care or whatever, and how they handled his situation. I'm like, no, everybody's just like, stop breaking the law, asshole. Like the scene from Liar Liar. That's what everybody's thinking at this moment. Just as long as he doesn't do something stupid, we'll be okay. We can get through this night.
Why isn't that Gunn can just say, you know what, hey, this is the end of this universe between this and Aquaman. Treat this as a one and done, self-contained story. I would be like, you know what? He's admitting he knows it's done for this universe. And I could turn my brain to adjust to its own story. I could do that because you know why? We not only could come back to a time where we had those movies, but it's not far out of imagination from what's happened the last few years with the Walter Hamada and his pocket universes, whatever you call it. Like they had no universe to begin with, so there's no point in trying to make this connected. Like, sure, if this kid ends up coming back as Blue Beetle, great, but it's clear that this movie was not made with that further universe in mind. Just take the loss on it and have people just roll with it as a done-in-one story.
Yeah, Blue Beetle's not the next Iron Man, right?
It's not that hard. Hi, Six.
Hi.
Hey, Six.
Welcome to the jungle.
You almost missed.
We got Ezra in games.
What'd you say, Nick?
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
You almost missed you having a heart attack on stream. Like
yeah, he was laughing his ass off.
Oh, good.
I had him going pretty good.
Oh, man.
But I was just telling him the fucking truth. It's, I'm not making this shit
but
up.
that's what makes it even funnier.
I'm with you, Alyssa. I don't know what's going on.
I just hope that after Not Flash comes out next week, we're gonna see so many channels talk about how here's 10 more ways the Snyderverse could be saved. Can't wait.
Not over yet.
It's not. There's still a chance. It's Dumb and Dumber.
Saying this.
Oh, jeez.
Still a chance. Yep, that's what they're gonna be doing. They're happy.
Laud with a W.
Release the widescreen cut of the Snyderverse.
Yeah, that's what makes no sense to me. Okay, allow me 2 seconds to gripe on that for a moment. That's one thing I've never really dumped on him too much for. Zack Snyder, supposed to be this visionary fucking director. What does he do? He's got a movie where there's multiple characters on screen where the obvious thing you should do is shoot it in widescreen, right? So you can get as many people on screen as you can at once. What the fuck's he do? He shoots it in the box.
There's a lot to be said for fan and scan.
I mean, I like old school stuff, but why release that in 4:3?
6. Have you seen? Yeah, it was actually shot to be shown in 1.8.5. Like, look at the movie. There's so much wasted space at the top and the bottom of the fucking screen. And if you watch the different cuts with the up against the Justice League cut, you can tell it was meant to be seen in widescreen. Like it's meant to be cropped up.
I watch movies on my phone, so.
Well, your phone's still in the wider angle.
I know, but I'm not as it doesn't trigger me if I'm all about the story. The visuals are not.
I get
so much. That stuff doesn't bother me.
Well, and I get it. At the end of the day, I would just joke too. At the end, it's like, really, okay, fine. You want a widescreen version? Just zoom in. Just do a 4-way zoom on your screen, because that's ostensibly what it is. I mean, if you can finagle it up and down a little bit, there might be a little bit of tweaking one way or the other in some shots. But outside of that, from what I could tell from Justice League, it's pretty much a straight scan down the middle anyway. So like, there's so much wasted space at the top and bottom. It's boring.
Well, maybe if I had a TV the side of a house, then maybe it would bother me.
Well, no, I get it, 6, but what we're talking about though is the aspect ratio. It's not even so much about what you're watching, because almost every TV screen, every computer screen, every phone screen is now in widescreen. Now, if he would done this back with the idea of, okay, I'm shooting this for video because I know it's only going to be in theaters for 6 months and then it's going to be on video for the rest of its life, like they used to shoot open matte for, that's one thing. But he shot it open matte, okay, fine for IMAX, but guess what? TV screens aren't the shape of an IMAX screen anymore. Like, that's even why Nolan kind of he kind of comes up with the he just does it 16:9 instead of doing it the full IMAX aspect ratio, which just fills up your TV screen and your computer screen and your phone screen. Basically, 6 is what I'm saying. But yes, IMAX is just glorified 4:3. You're not wrong. What were you going to say, CC?
No, I was just going to say it's a good opportunity for a fan edit. If all you really have to do is cut the top and bottom off, then somebody should actually do that. You know, there apparently there's so many Snyder fans out there. You know?
That's how I watched it. I got so sick of it. I'm just like, fuck this, because there's nothing I'm missing at the top and the bottom. So I just zoomed in.
Is this really the news of the day?
No, there's more.
Okay. No, we got derailed a bit.
But we did get these. We got that. Okay, so we're up to speed here. We got Liquid Metal Rob. Liquid Metal Rob sends in 5 pounds and says, Marvel needs to recast Kang because they fired Jonathan Majors. Just do a crossover with TMNT and they can have the variant Krang, the Conqueror. I'm all for this.
You know, I had to.
I'm gonna get you, Spider-Man.
Since I was at the Dallas Fan Expo on Saturday, I saw one guy, and I had to say, one guy dressed as Kang, and the MCU version of Kang, of course, and unfortunately. And all I could think to myself was that guy who's a cosplayer is either he's a brave son of a bitch who really believes he's innocent, or he's so deliriously like not aware of what's going on in the world. Because I thought no one's going on pictures of that guy wearing the MCU version of Kang the Conqueror. And like I saw him to the venue and back, and I counted because I'm like, okay, I just got here and I saw a guy as Kang. That's actually really interesting. I thought it was kind of brave of him. But now I'm like,
and stunning.
It's stunning, yeah, and kind of stunning. A part of me still thinks that, but it's just
not
like,
the normal kind of way.
That delirious? Are you that delirious of what's going on?
You should have talked.
His costume looked nice. Here's the thing: I'll say it. As much as I'm not a fan of the MCU suit, he put some effort into it. His suit did not look cheap. I'll give him that.
He'd been like putting it together for months, and
maybe that's true.
Fuck it, I'm gonna wear it anyway.
I already did all the work. Exactly.
That's the case. I can commend that.
Yeah,
I can commend that. I see.
He's like committed to it now. He's like, fuck.
You know, maybe in the inside he did want to, but like Six said, maybe he was already committed, and that would explain a lot. Because seriously, his suit, like I said, was well made. I respect the work that he put in. But it just, to me, I just was like, ooh, this is a really awkward time to be walking around with that thing.
Maybe
As
that
we're
character
learning-
is his Luke Skywalker.
Ooh. I hope not.
Well, I just
That's
mean maybe
sad
like
if
it's
it
his
is.
favorite character. That's all.
I get what you
It's his
mean, Six.
favorite.
Exactly. I understand. I'm just like, ooh, I hope not. Because I mean, it's already bad enough when you've got another one now that's being accused of crap. I mean, when Namor doesn't listen to the words Namor,
Not more.
No more. Yeah. Ooh, accusations. Let's say even worse than Kang's. Worse than Kang's. Arguably. So anyway,
if I should say this, but is it against Sue Storm?
I don't know who actually made the accusations, to be honest with you. But the actor who played Namor in Wakanda Forever just got recently accused of sexual assault.
It keeps getting worse.
Yeah, right? Like, it's a winning week for Disney. We're going to get into more of that in just a moment here, actually, since Six was asking what the news was. Gonzalo Bergali sends us, I believe this is Uruguayan pesos, if I'm not mistaken. 75 of them. Thank you so much. I heard rumors that Realist at Marvel Studios is playing Michael Jackson's They Don't Care About Us every hour, and Feige believes it's a nice prank. Wow. Well, I don't know if that's true or not, but that sounds interestingly funny. Yeah. It's one of those, if it's not true, it ought to be true. Marks 47 has been a member for 25 months of the Minimum Effort Puppy. Thank you so much. Mikey's in the house. He's supposed to be in here. He's listening and driving, though, because he's busy as hell. Says, I don't know why you guys got to keep breaking my Snyder Cannon heart. Why? I'm sorry, Mike. You're not here.
We'll put it back together later.
We got Jay Peters, who's a new member. Did we catch what level it was? Let's see here.
Minimum Effort Puppy.
Minimum Effort Puppy. I believe we have some Minimum Effort Puppy videos just for you. Or at least one, anyway. That's the minimum effort we put forth.
Adorable.
That's
Mikey's
adorable.
favorite, too. I think every month I'm going to cancel my membership and then read it up just so I can.
All you got to do is ask, and I'll show you, like, Board Corgi. But you want the Amy one, though.
I like the Amy one, the long version.
It's kind of, that's the thing. It's a little.
Amy wants green drop drink.
No. It's just funny.
It is kind of, but so is the. So is that.
That's not as cute.
Yeah, but it's Tim Curry spitting out sesame seed cake.
I know, but it's not a robot gorilla.
That's true. I can't argue with that. You've trumped my logic. So since you've trumped my logic, let's move on with the stories here. Disney is shifting a whole shitload of shit around. And as I asked on the thumbnail, does anybody really give a fuck? To be blunt.
No.
No, I really don't. The only one that, okay, I'll be up front and I'll bury the lead here, I guess, or not bury the lead, but jump the gun on the lead. Deadpool's the only one that's getting moved up and good. That's the only one I want to see. So it's been moved up from November to May. That's a good sign. That means they're well along. That means it's going to happen sooner than later, because that's just under a year. Yeah, exactly what Nick just said. It got fast-tracked, or it's been a lot farther along than we thought over this time period, so that means that's a good thing.
It's a good thing in that regard. We do got to keep in mind that there is She-Hulk writer or writers involved with that.
You're not wrong.
Ew.
Yeah, there's some red flags. I hope it's
I was going to say, and since like nowadays it seems like when you mess up a show on Disney Plus, you get moved up to destroy a movie. That seems to be the trend nowadays.
I should have started with the movies. Actually, I put the wrong thing up here. This is the TV shows. So let's go back to the movies here. My bad. That is my fault. Okay. So, Disney dates. New Star Wars movie shifts Deadpool 3, an entire Marvel slate. And delays. In fact, they basically have now confirmed that James Cameron will die making an Avatar movie. At some point,
they're actually now trying to make him die. Like,
he is going to be making these for so long that I can guarantee you the headline will say, James Cameron dies making Avatar 6. Okay, like that's going to be the headline because it's going to be...
Six. Dude.
Well, you know what I saw that
23,000 and four. No, I'm sorry.
Well, he's already supposedly shot part of the third one. That's why I say that. Go ahead, Six. I'm sorry.
the same amount of time between Avatar and Avatar 5 will be the same amount of time from Star Wars to The Phantom Menace.
I thought you were almost going to say the same time between Avatar 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the time 5 comes out, I saw somebody post that on Twitter. Somebody credible, I can't remember.
Yeah, no, it's like legit. Like they're set out so far now that I'm not kidding. James Cameron's not a young man. Like, I have a feeling that the headline's gonna read he dies making them one of these fucking movies.
I love Avatar, so it's worth the wait. I was very happy.
I'll give you something, Six. I started watching it on because I noticed the weird thing is, and I think I figured out why this is, but not to get down some rabbit hole, but they have it on both HBO Max and Disney Plus at the same time, Avatar 2. And I think I figured out it's because HBO put money into the movie through James Cameron's company initially. That's why. So they have it on license for that reason. But so I watched the first 5-10 minutes. It didn't look bad. It looked kind of interesting. I'll give you that much.
Wow, that's
most
almost
people
longer
said
than
about
you
it
gave
being
the
mostly
Willow
harmless.
TV show.
It is almost longer. I saw enough of it, and then I saw like the weird mutated baby thing that Sigourney Weaver plays, and I'm just like, that's just weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
And I just moved on. And then they had the feral kid. I'm like,
I don't get how Avatar did very good, especially overseas. Like it did good domestically, like obviously very good better than most movies, but it didn't beat like Top Gun or No Way Home. But obviously it did gangbusters overseas. Why would the movie that does better than most be the one that gets pushed back farther than the others? That's the part that I don't get. Even that's coming from the guy who's far from interested from Avatar. That makes no sense. Like you have a movie that people seem to mostly like. Why are you pushing that one the furthest back? Shouldn't you be the one that like, okay, let's keep this one to its day. We're gonna push all these other ones back, but let's keep this one stuck to a certain day because our last movie did pretty damn good.
Well, we'll get into that in just a minute here, but like I this is one thing I will say. War Monkey's right. You can see where they spent the money on the screen. The CGI looked pretty good in the first few minutes I watched. Go ahead, CC. Sorry.
Now, for the video game fans out there, you might recognize Final Fantasy VII Remake was originally announced in 2015. And we're still waiting for we're waiting for part 2 to come out next year. So I mean, and the first part was great. I thought it was, anyways. It was generally well received, and the second one's looking pretty great. So sometimes things just take a ridiculous amount of time. Because they're so huge and so like projects, they just grow and they grow and they grow as they're going. And I think Avatar is kind of like that with James Cameron. He keeps finding new things he wants to put in there, new things he wants to change and
new
add.
toys he wants to play with. And
it just goes on forever in development. But it doesn't mean it'll be bad when it comes out. It just, he might die in the process of making them.
Well, and look, to be in all fairness, I never said that Avatar 2 was going to be necessarily a bad movie. James Cameron has never made anything that's original. That's my argument. It's like he's good at making a movie. Not arguing that. It's just he hasn't had an original idea in his entire life. Everything he's done has been
original.
No, it's a ripoff of a dozen things. If anything, Avatar's a prime example of him not having an original idea compared to everything else. At least with Terminator and stuff like that, he could have like, oh yeah, maybe I forgot I saw that TV show 16 years ago. I mean, that at least is a plausible deniability, right? Like, okay, he accepted the fact that maybe he saw it, maybe he didn't. We'll give was it Harlan Ellison or whatever money?
Harlan Ellison, yeah.
Call it a day. When you get by the time you get to Avatar, it's like, dude, come on! It's Dances with Wolves. It's Fern Gully. It's Pocahontas. It's all these movies we've seen a million times over, but it's done well.
If all of those movies are just copying each other, are you shitting on them for making those movies?
Some of those aren't that great. I thought Dances with Wolves was a tad overrated. Okay. It's a decent film.
He may be influenced by those films. I'm kind of like, and I hate the first Avatar movie, but I never criticized it on that basis that it was. You make a joke here and there, like it's Fern Gully or it's Dances with Smurfs, and we used to call it. That kind of stuff never bothers me. Movies are so imitative anyway.
Right.
Exactly.
It was taking something and putting it
in the other side of it is, it wouldn't be the problem, but like
bothers me.
Titanic is okay based on a semi-true story, but the rest of it is shitty made up. And it's like anything that anybody really cares about at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like all anybody can ever say about that is her fat ass could have let him on that fucking board.
Oh my
course.
god.
That's what they all say.
If you put a good enough spin on something that's very familiar, I don't mind it at all, even if it is very reminiscent of something else.
And True Lies is a remake. Aliens is a sequel. I mean,
and True Lies at that time, when had there been a film?
he started his career out making the sequel to Piranha.
I know. When had there been a film like True Lies where you had the tough secret agent actually living the dual life of a married? I mean,
it was a remake of a French film, actually, Claudia. That was my point.
But no one ever heard of it. I mean, So I'm saying
there are only like 8 different story ideas in Hollywood.
Yeah, there are
true. Okay, we'll quit
shitting
on James Cameron just so Six doesn't.
No, I don't mind. No, I'm not upset. I don't have this hard on for James Cameron like I do now. If we're going after George Lucas, I lose my shit.
That's different. I know.
But
I'm giving you mostly shit.
I would like to hear valid criticism. I mean, you don't think anybody went to see Avatar 2 because you don't know anybody in your personal life who went to see it. So you're like, oh, these box office numbers are sus. I'm like, come on.
Actually, they weren't very sus. The
You said they were. Oh my god.
At the end of the day,
start clipping.
I mean, as far as the amount, yes. But as far as like the amount of people going to see it in the US compared to outside the US, that kind of reflects what I've been saying. And that not a lot of people in the US were all that didn't give that much of a shit about the movie at the end of the day. Not many more people in the US went to see Avatar than went to see a lot of the Marvel movies, is my point. So it wasn't like the Top Gun crowd that went to go see Avatar. It was like 70 to 80% overseas money.
Did anyone else hear that tune change? Just whispered through the air. Yeah, okay.
Still calling it sus. I don't know. I don't understand.
I just would like to, I mean, you're going with, well, my gut, it's almost like you're saying my gut feeling says that these numbers are sus. Well,
anything that Disney does is sus at the end of the day.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm not sticking up for James for Avatar 2 for the sake of sticking up for a movie. I just like to know where the data is coming from. Show me the data. That's
fair. Well, let's move on from that anyway, because that's not even what this is about. Yeah. Disney is shaking up its release calendar and adding a new Star Wars movie that won't happen, and a Moana live action adaptation that we've all known about for a while. But it delayed the next 3 Avatar movies by a year. At this rate, the 5th trip to Pandora will be released in 2031. That's 8 years for anyone who wants to know the math. I guarantee you they're going to get pushed out even farther because James Cameron don't know how to make a movie in less than a couple of years. So anything that delays him is going to make these movies take even longer, I bet. But anyhow, Moana will now be released in June of 2025, the 27th to be exact. Deadpool, as we said before, has been moved up from November 8th to May 3rd. An untitled Star Wars movie is set to debut on December 18th of 2026. I'll believe that when I see it. Avatar 3 has been shifted to 2025. Now, I can believe that one might make its date because I think, as we were just saying, I think James shot a bunch of that movie at the same time as he was shooting 2, if I remember right.
I thought it was done.
I think, yeah, he had said something about it being already shot, yeah.
Wasn't even that shooting the original date?
I'm not.
That was already the original date. I don't know why it says that shit there. I feel like that was already the date, anyways. Which if that
wasn't supposed to come out.
Sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say because no, it wasn't supposed to come out this year. I think it was actually supposed to come out next year. I think that's what shifted. So it's got shifted by a year. I think it was supposed to come out Christmas 2024.
Jeez.
Okay, I thought it was the 3rd movie.
Because if we remember, the way these things were supposed to go was the initial plan was a Star Wars movie and an Avatar movie every other year on Christmas. And that didn't pan out the way they had wanted it to. Mm-hmm. But anyway, Avatar 4 then is delayed till 2029. So a lot of people that are original Avatar fans will be collecting Social Security by the time Avatar 5 comes out in December 19th of 2031.
Only 2 years? There's no way.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they have these scheduled this way, and then they've already bumped back Avatar 3 when that's supposedly already shot. Something's not smelling right here. I don't know. But we'll have to see how that pans out. I'll be surprised if we actually get that many Avatar movies.
Yeah.
I think he has this big grandiose plan, but I think when he gets down to it, it's going to be like, I'm sick of making these fucking movies. After a while,
Yeah.
I think he'll get his third movie
out.
out. I think he'll get his third movie out. Hard to say on the fourth one, but I actually
that's what I'm thinking too, Nick. It's funny you mentioned that. I said I think he's going to get 3 of them out, and he's going to be like, you know what? I think it's just a trilogy.
You think he want to do something else at some point?
That's what I mean. He's going to be directing from the grave otherwise at that point.
Well, we do have dead people who do things on election years, so it would be far off.
You make me choke.
Don't make Tom choke.
It's payback from earlier.
We got to keep him talking.
So anyway, the new Alien movie also that's being produced by Ridley Scott, not to be confused with the series that's also supposed to be coming out, will be opening on August 16th, 2024. So they're burying that in the end of the summer for some reason. That doesn't make much sense. Oh, we skipped right over the Star Wars news. Why? Because nobody's going to see these fucking movies. Nobody's ever. They're not going to happen. Like, Taika Waititi is still under the impression he's getting one. And we skipped over the Marvel stuff too. Captain America: Brave New World is now moving from May 3rd to 2024 to July 26, 2024. Like anybody fucking cared. This movie is so like nobody gives a shit. Harrison Ford doesn't even give a shit, and he's in the movie. They asked him about, do you turn into the Red Hulk in the movie? He's like, Red what now?
Red what? He doesn't know.
What are you smoking at work? And I get some.
Because even if he does, he wasn't there for it. So he was just like, he did his. I
don't
know. I'm sorry, Ross is not even a general anymore. He's Thunderbolt Ross is he was Secretary of State, right? So, yeah.
I'm just a dude playing another dude.
They told me that the guy who played him before died, so he needed to come in. So, yeah.
What was that, 6?
He just cashes his check.
I just get paid to say the lines. Yeah. I don't know what they mean.
Yeah. I don't watch movies. I smoke weed.
I fly planes, I smoke weed, and I fuck my wife. What more do you expect out of me?
One more Bond movie. Ugh.
Yeah.
I can land a plane, I just can't land a movie.
I would like to see the interview on that movie. Like, when they ask him, I'd like to see him get asked about Marvel movies. That would be kind of funny.
What's a Marvel?
Well, he's supposed to be the president in the MCU next.
What's
apparently Thunderbolt Ross is going to be the president of the U.S.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, I figured.
So you know what that means.
Get off my plane again.
Or I'll turn into a Red Hulk.
You wouldn't like me when I'm angry.
Someone asked him about a Hulk. He's going to say, you mean that old TV show with Bill Bixby?
I knew Bill.
Bill was a good guy. I
Kind of thing for flannel shirts. Kind of like cool. George.
I didn't watch TV because it was too cool.
There's got to be something to it.
Wow. Oh boy.
So yeah, nobody really gives a shit. Okay, so Fantastic Four. Okay, back anyway. The Thunderbolts is being delayed now to December of 2024. So that's taking, I believe, the old spot of Avatar.
Good. Please don't make Thunderbolts.
Blade, which I swear will never happen at this point. This movie has been in development hell so fucking long. It's almost been in development hell as long as it's been since the last Blade movie. If you go from when it's been announced, I mean, like it's been that many years now. But that's been moved to Valentine's Day of 2025. Like, how hard is it to make a fucking Blade movie?
No.
That's where you want to take your date on Valentine's Day.
Well,
yeah.
Honestly, 6, I can see that because there are some chicks who really dig vampires. But now, point being, you're into Twilight, you know that.
Well, yeah, adrenaline gets the juices flowing, and you go.
Yeah. But point being here, how hard? Like Blade has got to be one of the easiest of all of these guys to make a movie of. All you need is a dude in leather with a fucking sword, hacking and slashing up vampires. How difficult? It's about the same as making a Friday the 13th movie. Literally. How hard is it? You get a couple of fucking teenagers together, well, adults who look like sort of teenagers. You throw them in the woods with a guy with a hockey mask and chase them around for an hour and a half. How fucking hard is that? It's the same thing here. You just get a dude running around a city chasing vampires at night. What the fuck what else do you need?
No, it's all MCU now, though.
It's not fucking rocket science.
You need a company that's not Disney. They don't really do that kind of material very well.
Yeah. Some 35-year-old teenagers, exactly.
Oh, Lord.
If you go back and look, even 18-year-olds looked 35 back in the 70s because we were more mature. That's why everybody's like, how come you got such older people playing? That's why we looked back then. Like, what's his name from 90210?
Luke Perry.
Luke Perry. We knew he was 40, but he did look 40, a lot like a teenager at that time. We were living some hard times. We were all smoking by the time we were 10.
Seriously, this Blade movie is the
we
MCU
had bills by the time we were 15. Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
No, this is the MCU version of Waterworld. It's just a pain to make. The price just keeps going up. They're probably hoping, this is a more grounded character. You know, he's got some like sort of, supernatural abilities being a vampire. Yet the price just keeps bulking up. They've had how many delays now? 3, 4 delays now?
It's never going to happen.
I remember reporting on this. God, it had to be 3-4 years ago now.
Yeah, 4 years
at least 2018 or 19, because I was talking to the guy who would have been one, and I brought this up a few times to a guy who would have been one of the writers had Wesley Snipes come on board. And at that point when he took off and instead went and did Dolomite and that other movie. So it's that long ago. And he had his little mini resurgence anyway, so it didn't fucking matter. But like his whole thing was he wanted to be Blade. He had no problem with passing the torch on to Blade daughter. That was his whole thing. Like that was what they wanted to do anyway. But Disney didn't want him to play Blade for some dumb fucking reason. They wanted him to play the Whistler role. And he didn't want to do that. I don't understand either, Clobby. It made no fucking sense to anybody but them.
They thought he was too old.
And what happened is they were going back and forth, and literally like the day after he told me that Wesley walked out in a huff over the whole fucking thing, they announced Mahershala Ali is playing Blade at that fucking thing. So we all knew right then that they've been planning on him playing the character for a while, evidently. Yeah. And that's why Wesley walked, because he knew there was no chance in hell he was playing this character again. And the stupid part is that dude ain't even that much younger than Wesley Snipes.
No, he's been around a bit.
And Wesley looks pretty goddamn good for his age.
Yeah.
In fact, he probably looks healthier now than he did back when he was doing Blade 3, because he was smoking so much and fucking eating so goddamn much back then.
He did not.
He was starting to chunk out a little bit. He's worked out a lot more in the last few years. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but 3 was pretty bad.
Well, that's the stories I heard. Is even though like Joss or whatever was a pain in the ass to work with, he was also a bit of a pain because he was constantly getting stoned in his trailer the whole time. Yeah. It wouldn't come out of his fucking trailer most of the time. So, oh
what
Lord.
A mess.
Anyway, yeah, and Nick, I just saw that image. Yeah.
Is that real?
Yes.
That's a joke.
No,
what image?
That's real. That is absolutely fucking real. I've had it confirmed by a few people. Do you want me to? Does anybody care?
Well, we're talking about it in the chat.
It's spoilers.
What are we talking about?
All right, this is a spoiler for a cameo in the Flash movie. Yeah.
Close your eyes.
You might want.
If you like the Scorpion King, you'll really like this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
They really should have got that dude.
I wish.
That's terrible.
That is fucking terrible.
I don't believe that's real.
It is fucking real.
Yeah, there's a scene where I heard described where they go through all these different through the multiverse, and they see all these pictures of not pictures, like pass through all these different images from other Earths and such, and they see a lot of things. That's all I can say, and I would not be surprised if that's.
There's no way.
Look at Superman's face. It looks like Scorpion King level of CG.
Yeah.
It's like whoever did
Well,
the
maybe not that
CGI for
bad, but
Justice
not
League
good.
said, "Here, hold my beer."
And over Helen Slater's left shoulder, it looks like
Or hold my
Who's
Bud
the-
Light, I should say.
who's the Buzz Lightyear?
Who do we think's gonna even give a crap about this?
What was that, Six?
It over Helen Slater's left shoulder, it looked like a fuzzy
Buzz
Buzz
Lightyear.
Lightyear.
Oh,
I don't believe that's real.
It is. I've had it confirmed by a couple people now that it is real.
oh, I believe it. Yeah, I mean, I can believe it.
Gonzalez thinks it's even worse.
That's how they did it in that stupid Flash TV show when he was going through the multiverse or some of those episodes.
Gary just said it's real
episode-
too, and he saw it this afternoon.
Oh,
so-
did he really? Oh, he saw it
Yep.
yesterday too. Oh,
Or yesterday, I mean, yeah.
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 Yeah, I know he
Oh,
said
boy.
earlier on Real
Hey,
BBC, he
fuck up.
said he didn't really like the movie. He said,
He
that
said,
the
dude,
movie
it's
is
that
good.
bad. That was his response to my yikes right here. Yep.
He
didn't like
said
the
that
movie, did he?
people he was with liked it, but he said he thought he was the only one who didn't like it. He says he thinks people are gonna like it, but he thought it was that bad. You know what? I actually believe Gary on this one.
I've been trying
I
to
might-
warn
oh,
people.
yeah.
Like, I mean, on the surface level, I'm sure it's a fun movie. And we go, oh, Michael Keaton, Batman. Oh, I know that too. Oh, he's got a gray suit. Oh, 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 oh. While we're ignoring the whole time that they kill Superman as a fucking baby,
And
and
you
a
gotta put-
woman
you
has
gotta put
to
it-
save the day
Ezra-
now instead.
And you got to put it
And
with
they
Ezra
do
Miller
Gary
for
into
2 hours.
Superman even more
And
because
there's
of what
Ezra
we
Miller.
talked about the Man of Steel ending.
Right.
And I've had
Oh.
it confirmed from a few people that yes, Zod kills him in the ship on the way to Earth. He is a baby when he gets killed.
That's nice. Very Snydery.
Very Snydery.
So these Snyder people, maybe this is your last.
Oh, and yeah, well, Ezra made sure to thank Zach last night or the night
Yeah.
before, whatever it was, too. Yeah.
Well, we have to thank him too. We have to thank him for being stuck with Ezra.
For wasting a decade of our fucking lives. That's
Yeah.
what.
What
He's the
guy?
most gas-
Can you
look
imagine
at
the
him?
cool DC movies we could have had in the last decade had it not been for his ass? I'm
Yep.
sorry, Mike, but I gotta
Always.
bitch on
No,
that. For
you're
another
right.
year.
We were stuck
He
with him
wasted a
and his
decade.
actual conspiracy theorists with
He
this
wasted
whole,
a
oh my
decade.
god, this is what the world wants.
Right.
This is what the world needs. This is what's gonna change everything. Guys, look, it's selling well. But leaves out
Yeah.
the context that it's come out in the list where there's hardly any new releases. Don't look at that. That just take our word for it. It's fine.
Jimmy, look, I apologize. We did warn for spoilers, but look, this fucking movie's been made for 3 years. It's
Yeah.
been done for 3 years. I've been hearing about it for 3 fucking years. And everything I've been hearing about has been confirmed. And in 2 days, I'm going to see everything I've been hearing for the last 2 years up on the screen and go, yep, I knew it. It's Superman with tits.
Okay, well, keep that all to yourself so you don't get kicked out of the theater again.
Yeah.
Yeah. no. Please stand up
At
and
that
say.
I'll
rate,
make
that's a
sure.
badge of
I'll
honor.
make
say
sure
it.
I jizz all over the back of my seat with everybody else the first time I see Michael Keaton, just to make sure that I don't
Just
get
don't
kicked out of the
ruin
seat.
it for those who are trying to enjoy themselves. And
I'm
aren't
not.
going
I'm
out
not
like
trying because I've actually talked to people who've enjoyed the movie quite a bit. I don't know about this whole thing with James Gunn hanging on this, like, oh, it's the greatest superhero movie ever made shit.
He's so full
And then
of
in the
crap.
same conversation, he goes and says Spider-Verse and I can't remember the other movie, what he said was the greatest ones too.
Everything's the
Superman,
greatest
the
movie.
movie, and something else. So like he changed his mind 3 times in the same fucking conversation. I'm starting to see why the type of James Gunn we see on Twitter is what it is. Because listening to this whole conversation with him for an hour, it's like he's and he even says he can't say certain things, but it's like, dude, you're giving shit away, right? You got your telltale signs. You're a horrible poker player. Like, I'd love to play poker with James Gunn because I could kick his ass at poker. I'm not that great at poker either. It's just the point
Oh,
of
I come
I
in
can tell he's
last
got a
every
bad
time.
poker face, right? Go ahead, Cece. Sorry.
No, I come in last every time playing poker. People always call me on it. It's like, go all in. No. Yeah,
Oh, you're a
I'm
bad
done.
bluffer.
apparently.
You got to be
Bad
good at it.
bluffer?
It's not about how see half of playing poker is not about what cards you got in your hand. It's how you play the other players. That's what it's
not the
mostly
lyric from the
about.
song. I thought you were going to
I
start
know
singing
when
Kenny
you
Rogers.
know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. That's what responsible people do. But a professional poker player knows when their telltale signs are there and they know when to strike. Yeah, it's a lot harder to do than you'd think. We got a new member. Look at that. We got members left and right. We're just like trans people around here, just getting members added to us. Hopefully not subtracted from us. Did anybody catch what level?
Minimum effort puppy.
Another minimum effort puppy from Dragon's Blade. Thank you so much.
Do we have maximum effort kitty?
We did have one, but I got it.
Rum, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Goddess had mentioned that, and I was like,
yeah, it was kind of
kitty
difficult to watch, and then I had the song on there that I put on. It was wrong, and I got claimed for it. It was my fault. Shit. I got to go back and change it. But anyhow, minimum effort puppy. Let's do, since we already did the regular minimum effort puppy, we're gonna do lazy puppy because he's got a cute butt. Oh, good job, Poonam.
Puppy.
Who doesn't want that puppy?
I want a puppy.
I don't. I'm not a bulldog.
Look at that tail.
What?
That tail. Oh my goodness.
That is all kinds of adorable.
Yep.
All kinds of health problems.
Okay, maybe you're right, but that just means you love him that much more.
I love every dog that has ever been put on this earth. Don't get me wrong. It's just not in the top 20 breeds that I would want.
I see. Now that's the opposite.
From an animal shelter,
I think bulldogs, pugs, all those are so adorable. I love them. And I mean, if they're special, I love them even more.
Yep.
Especially the ones that
very memorable. All the piggy snorts with the curling tails that flails around. Yes.
They can't breathe.
That's right.
I know, but they're still so adorable, and you just want to hug them.
And they're lovable, and they want to hang out with you. They want to go.
They just want to chill.
They want to go out for a drive, car wash. Go help you pick up the pizza.
See? Sadie doesn't want to do any of that shit with me. She'll pick up a pizza, all right, but she'll nab it from the pizza guy at the door, more or less.
Sadie would love it if you would put a leash on her and take her for a walk.
I have tried. She takes me for a walk, but as soon as my feet get better, that's part of the plan.
Okay.
She used to walk with me, but it's just difficult. She doesn't know how to heel very well. She gets easily distracted. I've been trying. I finally got her to sit in some other things. But I think she just knows she's going to get a treat. Tiger Valley 62 says Cameron just wants to live in his fantasy world, which is fine. Let him. But I think to me, I feel like he's wasting a lot of opportunities. Skeptical Panda says 90s teenager, the grayest hair generation. Yep. We had gray hair by the time we were in high school. Delu has become a member. Oh, now what have we got? Another new member. Delu is a minimum effort puppy as well. So let's see what we got here. Board Corgi we just did a little bit ago too.
Where's the doing the dishes?
Oh yeah, no, we can do that one. Nala.
Hey, excuse me. Nala. Are you doing dishes? I hope so.
That one's pretty cool.
Actually, dog. Actually, that's. We got that one already. So, Goddess of Whim has also been a member for 25 months. Thank you so much, Goddess of Whim. Thank you for being a member for over 2 years now. That's amazing. Anyhow, let's keep moving along here because there was some more Disney shit that we don't care about. Did we get the rest of this movie news? Alien, we brought up Blade, Avatar, yep. Okay, so we got through the movie stuff. Now let's move on to the TV series crap. Because this is the part where nobody really gives a shit at all.
I'm devastated. For some reason.
Okay. Where is it here? Okay, Scarlet or Secret Invasion will be coming June 21st. That's right around the corner. And the shit I've been seeing out of that looks horrible.
Yep.
Loki season 2 is October 6th.
They really made that thing? Why? Why, God? Why did you make a Loki season 2? Oh, man. I can't do it.
Marvels comes November 10th.
Oh, boy. That I won't be seeing.
Echo comes
Never.
November
stopped it,
29th.
Did they drop it? Or
Deadpool 3,
what's it
luckily,
back?
comes 2020. So then we get into stuff we already talked about. But
I thought they stopped the Echo.
no, Echo's done. Deadpool's the one that got
No.
stopped.
Not only is Echo done, it's gonna be the first show on D.
It says 20.
that
This is
gets
why it doesn't
released
have a date.
all
I don't
I'm
think.
thinking of
six episodes
Daredevil.
at once.
Or
Echo gets
Daredevil.
all
That's what I meant.
episodes-
Daredevil's been delayed.
Okay. All right. Sorry. So Echo's going to happen. It'll be an echo. No one will be hearing it.
Yeah.
If it's anywhere as good as the Black Sabbath album, that'd be something.
That was a good one, Bobby.
So that's why they don't have a date right now in Daredevil. I wonder if they make a 2024 date.
Why did they make this?
Daredevil just gets canceled. I won't complain.
No, Blade never happened.
So here's an image from when they announced his ass. So this is the
Right.
day I was talking about.
What, 5 years ago now?
Let me see if I can. It doesn't even say.
Yep, that was the SDCC 2019 announcement.
Was it 2019? Okay, 2019.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
when they announced that they're gonna have Blade, Mahershala Ali. They announced Fantastic Four, and then I remember one of the talk was about how they said that the mutants are coming, and I remember all up here like, why do you say the mutants are coming? It was definitely very suspect when he said that, and then that has been a conversation ever since, as it should be. It's the X-Men. Absolutely, this is not sorry, not sorry. This is an absolutely not sorry at all. And I'm not even like a huge X-Men guy. I'm just saying that is who they are. That's who their fans have seen them as. You're not going to change history because it doesn't suit your ideology.
Yeah, and Fantastic Four looks like it's shaping up for May of 2025. Now,
they can't even get the logo right.
Nope.
Our favorite Grace Randolph has come out and said they've ran into a problem.
Uh-oh.
And the problem is that they keep trying to cast movie stars in this movie. So their budget is already $80 million just for the movie stars.
I better come down to the Fantastic Three then.
You know, going off of what James Gunn was saying in the interview, because that was another thing he was talking about, and I guess one thing I forgot to bring up is he talked about unknowns, right? Like he was talking about he wants unknowns for his characters. Basically the characters are the important part, not casting some big name or whatever. That's the opposite of what the MCU seems to be doing now. Like, it feels like they think that their big fix to this is just to start casting names in this shit.
Yep.
I don't see that's going to work out for them at all, because that's been part of their problem. Is all these first, well, not just that, but for the first, few phases, all the people that they made movie stars, that was the problem, is that they started costing too much money. Robert Downey Jr. being the only exception. He was like a veteran, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
His comeback, though, that is the only movies he was making any money off of. No.
Yep. Unknowns are the way to go with anything like this.
And Kang Dynasty also got pushed back.
There's no Avengers group anyway.
Yeah.
There's no Avengers anyway.
Man series has been undated. Armor Wars is undated. I think they're both going to die. What If has been undated, which is weird because you think that's animated, so that should be half done or over. Right. But also X-Men 97 got pushed back.
I don't know why it's undated, because I thought it was finished.
Yeah, I thought so too. And I've been hearing things back and forth about freshman year.
I think they want us to forget about Echo since they're releasing it all at once. They want us to forget about it. So, because apparently it was from what I think we discussed on here, it was shot and it was completely reshot from beginning to end.
Wait, did I see?
Look at all this garbage! Jesus Christ!
You passed some stuff I never even heard of that they were doing. Like, was there a Wakanda thingy?
Yeah, there's a Wakanda series in development.
Oh my God! What? Why?
Nobody
Never mind.
asked for this.
No, and one before. What was before that one? I think. Marvel's.
And I
No,
mean-
oh my God, Marvel's. And what's the Peter Parker one?
That's freshman year. That's the one we heard about a
Spider-Man
while
cartoon.
ago.
That animated?
Yeah.
Okay, they'll probably
Yeah, it's
ruin
supposed
that.
to be animated.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
it's supposed to be Tom Holland Spider-Man though.
Okay. Marvel Zombies, no thank you. This why? Oh man, it's like
Nova.
Richard
Vision
Rider
Quest.
over the.
I'll take that.
They're gonna ruin Nova. Vision Quest. It would really ruin that because I mean,
I
good-
loved WandaVision.
Did you?
Yeah.
I hated the last 5 episodes. First,
Me
so it
too.
started out pretty well, but that
Started off
man, it
okay.
got so
but-
bad the way it ended. But
Yeah,
again,
I
I
think
would.
the last one was terrible.
I'm somewhere in the center
Yeah.
between all of you. I didn't mind it until the end. The end was what
Right.
derailed it for me.
It just got tiresome after a while. It started. It was a nice start. I mean, because I love those characters. You know, it's just.
Oh
But
yeah.
anyway, I'm not sure they
Speaking
can
of
do it
those
well.
characters, I'll have a nice surprise Friday, Clawby, for the comic show. You'll see.
Yeah.
Intent.
Yeah.
Nice.
Gary says I'm so woke. But I think Putin's right. Technically, I'm not very
melatonin.
conscious, so
Get yourself some
I'm
sleep.
sure the Russians know that. They know everything. So
the Russians. Pete Den Cat has been a member for 6 months at the maximum effort puppy level and says, cool. Got a members chat. Have you guys seen the trailer for a film called They Cloned Tyrone? It looks like great fun. You should take a look. No, I have not. Let me see what company did it first. They Cloned Tyrone.
Doesn't sound very Disney to me.
No. Let's see. It's a Netflix. Oh. Netflix likes to nail people. Series of eerie thrusts. Okay, so it looks like pulpy mystery caper. Okay. All right. Well, I'll send these guys the trailer in the private chat here. Because I would show it, but it's Netflix, and Netflix nails you every time.
Sorry, what are we watching? Is it anime?
No. It's not anime.
Yes, that.
No. Goddess of Women has also been. We got this one already, but thank you. And then the Lanu, we also got this one. Oh, he gifted. Never mind. This is new. Sorry about that. The Lanu member gifted 5 Midnight Edge membership After Dark chats memberships. Thank you so much to our chat. I can't fucking talk. I quit. Your gifted subs are higher tier than me.
That's awesome, Dilu.
Oh, wow. So you gifted ones that are higher than yours. Wow. So we have to do something.
Yeah. Like a member stream.
Well, yeah. Tell me about it. I'm bugging Andre.
Every day we go.
Every day. I bug him. Every day, yes. Well, we haven't done Oscar Puppy in a while. This is an Oscar winning puppy. He's got a future ahead of him. Willie the Monkey King has been a member for 22 months at the Congo level. It says, hi panel, hi 6. Marvel was smart casting names in not popular characters like Doctor Strange. Iron Man, Star-Lord was smart casting a name in Fantastic Four might work. I don't know. People are familiar with the Fantastic Four. So here's the difference. I understand where you're coming from, Willie, and I agree with you. Doctor Strange was a good move. Iron Man made sense. Star-Lord, on the other hand, Chris Pratt wasn't Chris Pratt yet when he was cast as Star-Lord. The only thing he had really done was Parks and Rec.
That was a huge show.
Yeah, but it's a show. It's not a movie.
You're right.
It's, he's established as far as like people kind of knew who he was, but like he wasn't on this level of where he became after that. Because that, of course, led to him getting in Jurassic Park and so on and so forth, which now he's on a level where you could say Chris Pratt is a movie star.
Yeah.
Then, though, he wasn't. And James Gunn actually mentioned this in the interview I just watched. He said at that time when they made the first Guardians movie, Zoe Saldana was the biggest star in the movie.
Yeah.
Because he actually was talking about this speech that him and James wrote as a joke for his wedding, where basically the whole speech is where he's talking about how he wouldn't have a career if it wasn't for James Gunn. I mean, it's partially tongue in cheek, but it's rooted in kind of some truth. But beyond that, no. As far as Fantastic Four, outside of like maybe the Thing. I don't see a reason to cast anybody as a name because you just get a good person to do a voice for the Thing.
Yeah.
Good point,
And-
Willie.
Well, you need somebody to play. If you're going to get Ben Grimm accurate, you got to have a guy. It doesn't have to be a name at all, but somebody who looks like, a pretty, big, well, built up dude, not some kind of. I like Michael Chiklis, but he was totally wrong physically for Ben Grimm.
The big difference, though, and I agree with you, Willie, but the big difference between Clooney and Chris was ER was watched by like 5 billion more fucking people than Parks and Rec ever was. Like ER was like everybody stopped everything and watched ER when that was on. Parks and Rec did well, but it didn't do like ER well. But I get what you're saying, and I agree. Like he had the pedigree, but it was basically it's becoming Star-Lord made him a movie star.
Oh yeah, dude. It shaped up his appearance and how we like see him.
Well,
as
it also took him from being
forward.
schlubby comedy dude to leading man.
Oh yeah, like when you saw him as Star-Lord, because I remember when the first Guardians, I was thinking, okay, that's an interesting casting. I don't know if he's a guy who can lead a movie like that, but hey, let's see what happens. And for sure, you see him in the movie. Oh wow, he really does have what it takes to,
like just to show you how big ER was for Clooney. Like I think that was also the year that show came out. He was nominated or was the sexiest man of the year or whatever. And shit like that. Whoever does that thing, was it Newsweek or whoever?
People magazine.
People? Is that who it is?
Newsweek?
I don't fucking keep track. They're all owned by the same companies anyway, Six. They're all owned by Penske Media and shit anyway at the end of the day. Or Time Warner, they used to be. But like, yeah, it's so like he was just a big deal at that time. And yeah, Chris, he made himself into a movie star after that. But anyway, we've dwelled on that for too long. What else is in the news, guys? Was there anything else to talk about? Andre's obviously not popping in here, so he did not see my messages.
Seems like this week is gonna be all about not Flash, so
it's a Flash kind of week.
Oh, who all is seeing it on Thursday?
I am.
You want to do a poll, Tom? I want to know what chat's up to.
We are.
With the
What?
I'm doing it for because comics asked if I could because he says I know comic books. I'm like, okay, comics.
So I'm asking if they're going to see the Flash or not.
Ask them if they're going to see the Flash in the theater.
Yep, this week or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, you probably.
I'll watch it in the theater if I can find somebody who saw it in the theater and watch them watching it in the theater, because I'm several hours away from any theaters and I cannot do that.
That's understandable.
Wow. Look how that's going.
Okay, but some people might be going next weekend or the week after that.
Just the theater in general. Then.
Well, it doesn't. If they don't go opening weekend, then it doesn't really fucking matter at this point because the movie's not gonna.
If you go next weekend, you matter to me, chat. Just letting you know.
It's not that they don't matter, Six. It's just that it doesn't matter in the box office.
I know. I was just wondering who's making the effort to leave their home to go see the Flash. That's okay.
Good question. I hear you.
Because like if somebody does a poll, and I won't name names, but if somebody puts a poll in their chat that says, "Are you going to see the Flash?" and it's going to come out on streaming and I'm going to watch it, I'm going to click yes. When actually what they mean is it's one of those technicality things that I'm hung up. Sorry.
Right. It won't be streaming for a while. So yeah, the big theaters.
I'm going to go in the back.
Hey, she left.
Why are you going in the back?
Because I'm talking too much and saying extra stupid stuff.
No,
more than I usually do.
No, you're fine.
Oh
my
gosh. A day.
80% of the people so far are not going to see it this weekend.
Good, don't. I don't feel proud, and I feel like I'm already violated before I even. And we're not even Thursday. I already feel violated. Like I'm probably going to have to take a shower, like that scene in Ace Ventura when he found out he kissed a man. He had to set his clothes on fire.
That's problematic
on his face. That's how I feel, knowing I'm going into this. I'm only doing this for TNT. Only reason. That's it.
All right.
I feel dirty.
Well, I'm going to give the table the mic for a few minutes to a friend of mine who's hanging out in the chat who has seen the movie and enjoyed it. I must say this though, I feel like you kind of get out of this movie what you go into it with, because he went into it with a very positive outlook. He come out with a positive outlook. So it feels like most people are getting out of it what they're expecting.
That does happen, but not always.
It does. It
Who
does.
would that
Well,
be?
let's hear the man speak.
Jimmy can't. I don't know about 80% lying, but I can clearly tell you're hyped up for this film, and that's cool, Jimmy. That's cool. But this guest coming in was also pretty hyped for the movie, and they enjoyed it. So we'll get to hear a positive take on the film if Sean is listening still. Yeah, I sent you the link, Sean, if you're listening.
Where are you? Where are you?
Yeah, man, look.
Get in here. Do it now.
What about
Do
Polly?
it.
Polly, are you
Come
listening?
on.
Did Polly like it?
I saw it. I don't know if he liked it.
I
can't
saw
remember.
his
I don't. I was
I
avoiding
watched-
spoilers.
I watched
No,
his review. It sounded like, I mean, if Paulie wants to correct me on anything I'm saying, but I did watch his video. It sounded like he liked it, but didn't necessarily love it. Like I said, I watched his initial straight out of theater. It's not like he enjoyed it. Now there's only one thing, and a lot of things he did say, whether he enjoyed it or not, is consistent with what a lot of reviewers have said. Now, the one thing that he did say that was different that now a lot of people have said, if I recall right, and Paul, if you're out there listening, please correct me, but I feel like he said Ezra Miller was good in that movie. And now everyone who I know who liked it or didn't all agree that Ezra Miller is not good. Here's the thing. Even if Ezra Miller was a 5-star class citizen, it's just this amazing individual full of achievements. He's still not Barry Allen.
No.
He's still not Barry Allen.
You look at him, you don't see nor feel Barry Allen. You see Ezra Miller.
Barry will look and feel on you, though.
Oh, it's actually really good. Damn it, Tom.
He will touch you in all the no-no spots.
Oh, no, he's going to send me to one of his weird rituals and abduct me. And then
hello, Sean.
I'm a pregnant
hey,
woman.
what's up? What's up, guys?
How's it going, Sean?
Hi, Sean.
It's good, man. Good to see you guys all tonight.
Hey.
Hello.
Sean's been on in the past, but for those who may not know who you are, real quick, why don't you tell the audience about yourself real quick? I know you got a YouTube channel and stuff like that and what you do.
Yeah. So I have Sean Stackhouse on YouTube, and it's coming up on 5,000 subscribers here shortly. I've been doing a lot of video game things, especially with the new Zelda game being released in May. I've been consumed with that, but it's a massive game. But yeah, I am pretty much try to stay in the same zeitgeist that Tom and Midnight's Edge and places like Jody's Corner. You know, everybody kind of revolves around, you know, we all love movies, we all love music, we all love what Hollywood should be doing for us and giving to us. So that's what I'm about.
All right. Well, you enjoyed the film, but you went into it with a pretty positive outlook anyway. So I think that it has to be at least pointed out to begin with, because it seems like everybody I've talked to, whatever kind of outlook they've had going into the movie, they come out pretty much with the same.
Yeah.
Whether it's a positive or a negative, it just seems to be about the same across the board.
What would you say the average is on that? More positive? Lukewarm.
Okay. I mean, like most people will have said, like, if I had to like surmise my own like Rotten Tomatoes score that everybody's saying is like, it's mostly harmless fun, but at the end of the day, it's pointless. And there's some really stupid bits in it, basically, it sounds like, but most people will have fun, it sounds like. So
I mean, that is pretty accurate.
I've not heard one person, good or I guess you could say bad, not one person has called it woke at all.
No.
I've not heard anyone say also too that it's terrible. I have just heard that it's just kind of And it doesn't.
There was
like
some business with
either.
guns or something like that you were talking about, though, Nick, that I wasn't able to confirm or deny.
With guns.
Yeah.
Or was it you, Clobby? Clobby was saying.
Yes, I was told there's a certain bit where, well, I don't know, just not about guns, about why the Michael Keaton Batman's Gotham City was now a utopia and why he retired, to do with banishing, confiscating guns.
they went over that very, very quickly. It probably had something to do with guns because, you know, Batman, his parents being shot by a gun and what have you, sent him on his whole crusade.
Right.
Yeah, there was something like that.
I heard about that, and I was told by a friend about that. And I was like, "That's bad. That's bad. Why would you put that in a movie?"
But I mean, it is literally just like glossed over. They don't hang on it. It's just like, okay,
they had to stick it in there. Yeah,
yeah.
I hear you. It's pretty stupid.
But yeah, I mean, overall, like, guys, I mean, you hear like the press capping saying it's the best superhero movie ever. It's not. It's not. But I will tell you, in my opinion, it's the best DC movie probably since Batman Returns.
That's kind of a tall order, even the Dark Knight films.
Well, okay. Let's say Batman Returns and The Dark Knight, because both of those movies are on the same level pedestal for me.
Okay, for you personally, I was gonna say, because like here's the thing. Like, I mean, I love me some Batman 89 and Batman Returns unapologetically. Hell, I even love Batman Forever and will argue that's probably the most Batman movie ever.
Forever is so entertaining.
It's probably the most comic accurate Batman movie you're ever going to get as far as we've gotten so far. That being said, most people consider the Nolan trilogy as like this other level of filmmaking. And I can't argue with that. Because in some ways it's not really Batman, but it is. But on the other level, they're such damn good films, except for the third one. That especially The Dark Knight is one of those movies that you can hold up and say, not only is this a good comic book superhero movie, it's just a damn good fucking movie.
Yeah.
Right. On all levels. So that in that respect, I mean, to me, it's like it's hard to and that's the problem we have, especially with like the Spider-Verse lately and all that kind of crap. You know, it's like everybody keeps saying is like, oh, it's the greatest ever, greatest ever, greatest ever. It's like, that's a tall order. We have had 20 years of comic book movies now, and we had things happen in those first 10 years of Marvel that have never happened before that. Not only that, in my opinion, there hasn't been much that's really lived up to the hype and the excitement and what made me feel when I saw Superman and Batman back in the day either.
Right.
Or even Spider-Man for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
In 2002 or whatever it was it came out. So like, yeah. So in that respect, I mean, I kind of hate this, the best ever thing to be thrown on everything. But at the end of the day, Flashpoint is a decent enough story that if you don't think about it and try and tear it apart a little bit, you're fine. So I can see this being a movie that it could be watchable. That I can understand.
Well, I just want to say that, you know, Christina Hodson, you know, she previously wrote Birds of Prey, which is completely unwatchable as a DC fan.
It is.
So the fact that she could actually, I don't know if she was given direction on this film. I would assume so, because they've invested so much money on this film. I'm sure that there were like certain plot points that they wanted to make sure were in this film to have it make any kind of sense. But, you know, with that being said, she did a really good job with what you could do with this type of story. I was really honestly surprised, you know, coming in from Birds of Prey. I wasn't expecting much at all.
Mm-hmm.
But all I knew is Michael Keaton was signed on to it, you know, and I wanted to see his Batman again after 30 years. And his Batman is... Okay, so this is the Flash movie. It is. But so much of it revolves heavily around Michael Keaton's Batman. And I feel like that might be a little unfair to the Flash, but I don't know if these things were added after Ezra's mini meltdowns, you know, to have more focus on Michael Keaton, because he could certainly carry it as his character. But I think it worked out really well. If you guys don't want to pay the money to go out and see it, at least make sure you see it when it's on disc or on digital, because I know we've been burned by DC like 3, 4, 5, 7 times at least, but this movie kind of it's not like a painful experience. You know, you can actually sit there and feel like you're rooting for the character or characters, you know, because you are. And you know, General Zod, he's only in there for like a hot second. But you know, he's there. It's a nice, if anything, it's a nice send off to the Snyderverse, because they definitely need to be sent off.
Well, I won't complain about that.
Yeah.
And at least it seems like you're seeing it a bit more objectively. Whether I do or will not agree, it seems like you are trying to at least see it from a more objective perspective, which I'll give you that. That's good because you're saying, hey, this thing needs to end. We need to wipe the slate clean. It's not about whether we like it. It's because it's just so fractured and messy.
Yes.
Because not just because of the regime change, but because of everyone involved, top to bottom. It's just, and this dates back even before. And I said before, as much as I had my 800,000 complaints about Zach didn't start this problem. This stuff dates back to even the 90s. Zach is nothing more than a symptom. The cause of this goes back to Warner Brothers, where they want to make Superman like Batman because he's got to be dark and edgy. Like they wanted to do that whole stuff with Tim Burton directing Superman Lives in the 90s. This has been, I'd say Warner Bros. Was the instigator of this problem. And when they have a movie like Batman Begins or The Dark Knight do well, they think, okay, every movie's got to be like this. And it's just like, holy crap. And this is obvious, and that's a Hollywood issue because when they see something do well, they think we can just copy and paste it, and that's what works. They don't think, hey, what made this good? What made people like this? Like, for me, my personal favorite is Batman Begins, but I can at least understand why Dark Knight latched on. People like Heath Ledger's Joker. He had a very energetic, wild, engaging performance. I get why people latched on it. It made sense. The marketing was really good. I get it. So
Batman
I was like,
Begins.
okay, I could get that, but they didn't look and think what made people latch onto that. They just thought, okay, just copy and paste and we're good. But it doesn't work that way. You gotta work. They don't look at these stories and be like, okay, we got to adjust to how this character works. They just think everything's a one size fits all. They don't think, okay, we need the Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps to be space cops. We need Barry Allen to be a CSI detective who's basically as smart as Batman, one of the few guys that Bruce Wayne actually has respect for. We need Blue Gold, Mr. Michael John Carter, and his buddy Ted Cord. We need them to be buddies. Like, they don't understand that. They just think everything is just one thing. They just want the quick route. They weren't even trying to catch up to the MCU. They were trying to sprint there. They were cutting corners. And yeah, sure, you, I, Klobby, you and I, we all may know these characters, but the general audience does. And they thought we could just skip them and just rush them in the Justice League movie.
Yeah, you're absolutely
work
right.
That way. You got to give people a reason to care. Yeah, the process with Marvel in Phase 1 was slow, but you can't say that it didn't work by the time the first Avengers movie came, because that stuck the landing and then some when 2012 hit. It felt earned. It felt complete. It felt like you finally got to the finish line with those characters finally being there. And when they were finally together, it mattered. You could also see right away why they needed to be together. They were a group of guys who were kind of old, had their own problems, but they meshed together well when the chips were down and they needed to get their shit together. No, they stuck the landing. That is something that we'll always know. I will see as an achievement was phase 1, whether all the errors or not, because there's some errors in phase 1, but the overall plan, they absolutely stuck the landing. And that's what should have been done.
Phase 1 was amazing. It was an amazing phase. I mean, it's probably phase 1 and 2 are like things of legend. The legend is that Kevin Feige sits everybody down, or at least used to, and makes them watch the original Superman with Christopher Reeve, to kind of ground them. Decades from now, producers are probably going to have them sit down and watch phase 1 MCU.
Maybe, but at the same time, we started to learn over time that after that first few movies, they didn't really have as much planned as they made us think they did.
That's true.
Even James Gunn said he basically came up with the Infinity Stones in an hour, like what they meant to the entire franchise. Like, that's not putting a lot of thought into it.
Did you hear him kind of casting shade to Marvel in his interview today? With
I heard about that.
That was quite an interesting interview, and like I said, I don't know if you saw what I said earlier, but you can definitely see the politician at play today. And I can understand why he does what he does, but at the same time, I don't necessarily care for it. I wish he'd just be honest with us and forthright, because look, I'll be honest with him right now. I doubt he's listening, or anybody who even really knows him may be listening, but I doubt it. Point I was going to say is, look, the end of the day, you're going to confuse fucking people. If you're going to reboot this thing, just flat out say you're fucking rebooting it.
Yes.
Quit this fucking dance back and forth bullshit. Because as I pointed out in my tweet today, if you keep any of Snyder's people around, or keep your fucking wife and people and brother and people like that around, you're going to just get accused of nepotism on that end. And on the other side, you're just going to get compared endlessly to Snyder. The only way away from that whole thing is to end everything, including your little universe that you created, and say, look, I put a little bow on it. It's done. Now with Superman, we're starting fresh. From there on, move forward. Start fresh with a new tone, new direction. Because DC, and it sounds to me in the interview that you watched too, Sean, which it sounds like.
Yep.
He has the right idea, at least where Superman's concerned.
Yes.
He knows he has to come up with a hopeful hero, something we haven't been seeing in so long from Superman, while also bringing something new to the table, which is understandable. But it sounds like he's rooted in Donner's Superman, which is good. And he's seems to be mostly concentrated on that, even though he's overseeing this entire galaxy right now. I mean, that was one thing Michael kept asking him about a little bit and poking him with, but he flat out said, at the end of the day, I just got to do what I do, and I got to worry about what I'm doing most of all. Yeah. Like even when he was asked about Wonder Woman and a few other things, like he flat out said, I'm not writing Wonder Woman. Yeah. I'm not even thinking about that. Like that's not his thing right now. And I don't think he's not worrying about these other things. He's worried about one thing at a time. And that's kind of what it sounded like to me.
But you notice, like, he didn't say, oh, Patty's working on Wonder Woman.
No, but my whole, yeah, and you're right. That's another glaring, absence of anything. But my point, I think I was getting to in the way he's kind of explaining it is, we're not going to worry about the next thing down the road until we're done with this, or we're sure that this is going to work first. Yeah. Right. He even said, we're not set in stone. We're not planning a bunch of sequels. Nothing is necessarily going to be done until it's done.
Yeah. He said he didn't want to flood the market, which is a good tactic. You don't want to do what Marvel did. Well, actually, Marvel didn't really flood the market. You don't want to do what DC did under Snyder, basically. And
right.
And so, and he. Like,
I'm not saying he can't have his wife and his brother in the movies. Just have him play somebody else. Yeah. Kill that other universe, though. It's built off a dead franchise at this point.
And as long as there is just one character left standing from the Snyderverse, we're not going to hear the end of it from that.
That's my point. Exactly. Yeah. Because first you're going to have, why didn't you keep Henry Cavill?
Exactly.
Why didn't you just keep the Snyderverse?
So
why are we still doing this? Oh, you just did it to keep your wife. You just did it to keep your brothers. Blah, 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 blah.
Exactly. Yeah. But I mean, I see an issue like if they end up keeping Gal on as Wonder Woman, but got rid of Henry Cavill. I mean, you got rid of freaking Superman. You got rid of a guy who could actually potentially play a really good Superman.
But well, my sources went kind of quiet after James Gunn took over. I hear a few things here and there once in a while, but nothing real solid, because all I keep hearing is Gunn is the only one who knows anything. And from what, if you look at his lineup, to me, it looks like he's rebooting all of the main characters, sans Flash. And then Flash is like non-existent in this first chapter that he's calling it, right?
Yeah, I don't think Gods and Monsters is what it's called. And I don't think we're going to see, man, Flash would have to make a buttload of money for me to even remotely think that Ezra is going to be coming back as Flash.
And he's already kind of advertised that he's recasting Supergirl. He's all but said he's going to recast Batman.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's where I keep hearing about the no one knows shit but James Gunn. And he kind of addressed that today on the in the interview, and where he said, yes, some of these things might be true, but a lot of what people are running with out there is they're hearing it from somebody's agent, or they're hearing it from this source or that source, or they're just making it up. And it's not true. And he's like, a lot of these people are doing exactly what Andre and I and others have pointed out too, is they'll plant, these stories in the news.
Yeah. I've heard you guys talk about that a lot.
And he brought that up quite, indirectly, where he's like, a lot of these people are actually putting their own actors and actresses up for these parts when they're not even reading for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing it on purpose to try and get them involved.
Or Michael, said, or like he creates a videotape and he's like, yeah, people do that too. Just to say,
so you made a tape. Yeah.
Yeah.
I shot a screening for that. Like, and a lot of times it sounds more like it's somewhere between like the managers and agents and all that shit trying to pull shenanigans and whatnot. But anyway,
Mhm.
point being, like, I don't think he even quite knows exactly where this is going yet. I've heard, he's got to me, they put that out there because they're trying to curve this idea that everybody's like, oh, we know it's going to be one of these three people. No, you don't.
No,
He hasn't decided yet. And in the way he was talking today, I think he's going to cast an unknown.
I think so, because he seemed really enamored with that idea, which is, essentially the formula for Christopher Reeve's Superman and the main cast.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean,
he was even hesitant to say that there was going to be a Lex Luthor.
I know,
right? Because Michael, of course, who had played Lex before,
Lex Luthor.
He had to bring it up, and he's like, "Well, you said that already. There's going to be a Lex Luthor." So I don't know if Michael fucked up and said something he wasn't supposed to, or James was like, "Oh no, somebody asked about it," and I said, "I'm not saying he doesn't exist in this universe, but I never said he's going to be in the first movie."
Right. And
the same thing he said about Crypto, right? Like, it's like, people run with this shit like it's a confirmation.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that Michael was like, but you have to promise me whoever you hire has the gravitas, so they're not going to come off like this crazy person. Not that it's, not saying it's been done before. And then,
well, what's funny is he kept saying that Rosenbaum was his favorite one.
Yeah. I think Rosenbaum was a really good Lex.
And what's funny is, like, he'd actually be the better age to play Lex now, as far as like.
Well, by now, yeah.
Like the older version of Lex Luthor, the old man Lex. I mean, he would be fine. I don't expect him to play the same Lex Luthor.
No, I'd be down.
But I think he could pull it off. I think he did great in the part.
Probably get Michael Rooker.
He's a little too old, but you might be right, Clobby. That was one of my first thoughts.
Yeah.
That was one of my first thoughts.
Michael Rooker. Oh man, I actually really like that.
Because you need a Lex, and this is why Gene worked and certain other Lexes worked when others didn't. Like, for instance, the Kevin Spacey one is a great example of one that didn't work.
Yeah.
And that is because you need your Lex to both be charming, but also a crazy fucking maniac at the same time. He has to be able to do both. But when he's doing the crazy maniac thing, he's still kind of being charming at the same time. That's what Gene Hackman pulled off in fucking spades. Right? Like, it just... He was the most charming Lex Luthor. Like, you wanted to hang out with him in his little fucking underground, his little hideout.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, and his hideout was very, very cool in the first movie. I liked it.
And you almost were like hoping for bye-bye West Coast. Hello, Castle de Lex.
Yep, pretty much.
Hello, new West Coast. My West Coast.
My West Coast.
Castle de Lex.
But I like how James was talking about how much pressure was on when he started writing the script. He's thinking to himself, why did I do this? I'm such an idiot. And, now that he's done with the script and he's storyboarding, he feels very confident about it, which as a DC fan, I'm glad that he feels confident about perhaps the most important movie in this freaking universe right now.
Yeah. Well, I see Polly's finally in the chat now. I say, you got the keys if you want to come in and talk a little bit. We're getting an alternate point of view for those who like to think we're nothing but an echo chamber here.
Sasha Calle was really good. She really was.
That's what I've been hearing too, which is sad. But you were saying something, Clobby? Sorry.
Oh, I was saying that you're still getting accused of being a ringleader of the Snyder haters, which I take a perception that nobody hates Snyder more than me, not even you, Tom.
You might be right on that. We might have to fight over who hated him more. Because I'll at least accept some of his other films. I mean, you might not.
300 was sort of.
People need to let this one go. I get it,
Cranston.
But
good actor, but
maybe
he's getting a little too old too. Yeah, exactly. Again, he's getting a little. People got to remember, you need a Lex that's somewhere between mid 40s to 50 at tops.
Yeah.
Maybe 30, late 30s at the most, because he's got to counter Superman. That was the problem with having
the same age earlier.
Yeah,
the old age, not anymore, but yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I don't mind them being the same age. That's not a bad, as long as
we're in the original Origins.
Yeah. That's fine too. But like what they did with what I was getting to with like having Lex Jr. with Jesse Eisenberg was so fucking stupid. Your Lex Luthor should not be younger than your Superman.
No. What I think
he should be basically
Lex
the same
Jr.,
age as Superman. Or he was, but at the same time, he was it was some convoluted way of making him a Lex Luthor, just the same.
He was Alexander, I think. But yeah, it like the whole premise of BVS Lex doing everything that he did, it was just garbage. It was absolutely horrible.
He was playing Mark Zuckerberg. Let's be fucking real.
Oh yeah,
So
like,
again,
he's
Snyder, the
he
worst
was the
caster
Riddler.
ever, dude.
yeah.
He
Claudia,
cast-
He
you're
was
right.
the Riddler.
He cast Facebook Luthor and Ezra Miller. Case closed. He's horrible at casting.
There you
yeah,
go.
I agree with Nick. If anything, he could have played a great Riddler. You know, like a sociopathic Riddler kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
But-
better than the guy that was in the Bad Dad.
oh
Oh
see,
God, yeah.
I hate the
Well,
Batman.
and actually, you know what? You know what?
He was
I'll-
not the
you're-
Riddler.
You're right, Nick. It's not his fault. It's not Paul Dano's fault. Paul Dano's a good actor.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, good at
It's not
Probably
his
is.
fault he was saddled with
Probably
this
is.
shit fucking role version of the character. I refuse to call it the real. It is
Yeah, but
not
now
the
he's
fucking Riddler.
writing that shit role for comics now. That's a problem.
It is horrible. That is not the Riddler.
No, I thought it was Hush, like with all the
Yeah, it's more like a
pretty much.
completely different character already. Exactly.
yeah. When I found out it was the Riddler, I was like, "What? No, that's not Riddler, man."
No, the Riddler is
Not
flamboyant. He's
Also, I'm never gonna
Frank
forgive them for
Gorshin
what they
/
did
Jim
to the Wayne
Carrey did it
parents.
just fine.
Yeah,
in my
absolutely.
opinion. And if you're not going to do that version, then you do the sociopathic version like they did on Gotham
Yes, that was good too.
I don't
or
know.
whatever you want to call it.
Jim Carrey, it was funny, but John Glover was the best Riddler because he was so well written on the animated
love that.
series.
Oh, yeah.
of the anime. But he was just doing like
Yeah.
that. Batman Forever, as fun as it is, both he and Tommy Lee Jones are not playing those characters; they're playing the
Well,
Joker as those.
Jim
characters.
Carrey's doing Frank Gorshin on
yeah.
crack. That's what I will argue. He's not doing the
Yes.
Joker. He's doing Frank
Yeah,
Gorshin on
but
crack.
Tommy Lee Jones is doing the Joker, and it's
Tommy Lee
terrible.
Jones is trying to
Yes.
upstage Jim Carrey, and that's his fucking problem.
The
They
whole
didn't
movie,
like each other
the
on
villain's
set,
wrong.
so-
Speaking of upstaging, because Six is going, I know why she just had this reaction.
Paul.
Andre's here.
Oh, whoa.
Andre.
The boss.
Hey, greetings, everyone.
Hello,
Hey.
sir. Nice to see you.
Andre,
Yeah,
it is an
likewise.
honor to meet you for the first time, sir.
Oh, well.
Yeah, you may recognize
pleasure
Sean
so
from the
much.
chat, but yeah, he's been on the show on Mead a couple times. But he just he was talking positively about the Flash, just to prove that we're not an echo chamber here.
Yeah,
But
well, that's cool.
I have not heard your thoughts on the film yet, so I have not heard one single thing on your thoughts on the film. The only thing that you've told me on it is that basically, things that I've already known. So, like, I don't think you said anything actually. I don't have to go back and look.
No, because I've been recording it, and I'm.
Yeah.
I just sent you the script, and I'm about to send you the audio. I think there's good stuff in it. It has some good moments. It has some genuine emotions. It has a pretty solid performance by Ezra Miller, and it's a complete and total bloated mess. And the multiverse is horrible in it. Just a CGI shitfest.
Oh, so
Yeah.
that didn't render out better than like the previews. Then that's not good.
Yeah, no, I was not taken with it. I was like,
Yeah, because
thinking-
you actually saw it like a couple weeks ago, Sean.
Yeah, and so the CGI was still pretty like bare.
Oh, they never finished anything from what I
Oh, yeah,
heard.
yeah,
It
yeah.
was done.
No. We are now living in an age where CGI is worse than it was 15 years ago.
Oh, true.
Mhm.
Yeah, I could have told you they weren't going to spend any more money on this movie.
Yeah.
So like Nicolas Cage almost looked like a pre-Wiz and stuff like that. So yeah, no, I was not. The more I think about it, the less I like it.
What did you think of Keaton and his performance?
His performance is fine. I just don't think that he fit into the movie. I don't like where he was when the movie started.
Okay.
He looked like really old and haggard,
Yeah, he did.
and I really didn't feel that much watching him. Like I was like, wow, where I'm seeing Keaton's Batman again. I didn't have that feeling at any point in there. I think the movie would have been better served with some other Batman, than him, to be completely honest. I think they made the wrong movie here at some point in its development, or the original plan for this. If you think back to Batman v Superman, you have two named actors playing the parents of Bruce Wayne, Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne. You have Lauren Cohan and Jeffrey Dean Morgan playing those two in a bit part, because obviously they were going to do a more straight-up adaptation of Flashpoint with Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne as the Joker. I still think that would have been a far stronger movie than this Frankensteinian abomination, because that's kind of like what it was. This is a movie of many chefs that has been cobbled together several times over from whatever footage they had available, and with some reshoots, and then they reshot the reshoots when the regimes changed and everything. And they've done a fairly good job at streamlining as much as they can, but it's just too long and it's too bloated. This is a movie that easily could have had 20 minutes cut from it, and it would have been better served if they had used less CGI on the whole and focus on getting what they were going to use right.
I agree. And the two berries, I don't know about you, Andre, but the two berries, all of those scenes seemed like they could have taken most of those out. I think that was a lot of the bloat.
Yeah, absolutely. That could easily.
That's pretty sad when you could take the main character out of their movie.
Well, only one of the berries. It's just the two berries together became rather annoying and filled up a lot of screen time.
There's one scene that they should keep though, and that is like when you have like the older and more experienced Flash suddenly talking to the younger and more inexperienced Flash, saying like, "My God, like you're so fucking annoying," and like, "Oh, now I see what everyone else means about me." I mean, that was like a good thing. That's like one of the best parts of the movie, when he suddenly saw himself from the outside. But we didn't need so much to get there, and the only thing that happened with it is that I was like so exhausted from like how hyper he was, like the baddies were and everything, and all the 2-hour running time. So by the time we got to like the main fight and everything, I had to fight to stay awake. I was like, I tuned out by then, because then I had like pay attention to story, build up, story. Getting exhausted here. Oh, now we're getting to like CGI shitfest, and now I can just like tune out almost. That's kind of like what I did. I was like, oh shit, falling asleep here, waking up again.
So, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Now that Flashpoint is upon us, do you think that it serves its ultimate purpose by closing one door so we can open the next door into James Gunn's DCU?
No.
Okay.
It's just like universe breaking. Doesn't do anything of the sort. I mean, you have to read that into the movie, because the way that you can interpret it in two ways. One, you can interpret it in the way that, but by the end, it's Barry Allen who has destroyed the whole universe, and now Ben Affleck's Batman is gone, replaced by, you all know it, by George Clooney and everything like that.
Which makes no fucking sense.
No.
Yeah. Well, it kind of like makes sense in the movie, because there's an excuse for it in the movie. Because
I got a box set downstairs that just stares at that excuse and go, what?
Well, you want me to explain it?
Please try.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Because basically, it is explained that whenever you do something in time, it doesn't just change the future from that point onwards. It also changes the entirety of the past from that point backwards. Basically, whenever you do anything, you are suddenly in a completely different timeline. So what happens towards the end there, spoiler, is that Barry, he goes back in time to basically undo him rescuing his own mother. But then he gets an idea. I'm not going to say what that idea is, but he gets an idea and he makes one additional change. And that one change is going to be beneficial for him in his future. But again, as we've already seen, that's not just going to change the future from that point onwards, it's going to completely change the past. So he's now in a completely different timeline again. And in this timeline, it's George Clooney's Batman, who may or may not be the same Batman as the one that we've seen in the movie before.
Still don't make no fucking sense.
Let's just go with it then. That, as far as I'm concerned, the Keaton movies and the Kilmer and Clooney movies take place in adjacent parallel universes anyway, because I mean the city looks nothing like each other or anything like that.
Oh, don't go with the city thing. That's what everybody keeps dumping on here. No. I got 3 box sets downstairs that say otherwise, and 20 other actors, and references to earlier movies, including women with whips.
Which is why I said adjacent parallel universes.
Adjacent
really
my ass. It's so stupid. Isn't
anyway? That's what they're
makes my brain
with.
hurt.
Yeah, but anyway, that's what they're going with. So you have like 2 ways of interpreting the end there. One is that Barry Allen, he has changed the entire universe around him. That's one interpretation. Or the timeline we followed up until this point carries on merrily along without the Flash, because he is lost in some other timeline. So it's not Batman that's lost in the time stream. It's the Flash.
I guess.
He went in and he never came
That's like
back
looking
again
at it as
because he's now in a different time stream. That's how I look at it.
And this is the problem with multiverses. Sorry, go ahead, Sean.
I was just going to say, since Andre was just speaking of the 2 timelines and one without the Flash, so in theory, DC could move along with the timeline that was reset without Ezra's Flash.
Yes, they can do that, because you have the complete excuse for doing that. That you have like the timeline that you see in the beginning with Ben Affleck's Batman and basically everything from the Snyderverse, and the only thing that happens there is that Barry Allen, he ran into the past and he never came back out again, lost in the multiverse. That is one way to look at it. What happened on the outside, and everything else that we see, or that happened to Barry Allen only. He started messing with the time stream, and now he's lost in the multiverse and can't get out again. That's actually my chosen interpretation.
I like that.
My interpretation is I don't give a fuck. It's stupid.
That is the big thing. It doesn't really solve anything. And I would say the post-credit scene, like just leave the movie before, because that's the most stupid, pointless post-credit thing I have.
Because we got into this debate, the very debate that Andre pretty much almost started. And by the end of the debate, I'm just like, this is the fucking problem with multiverses right here. The fact that we're having this stupid debate over whether or not George Clooney and Val Kilmer's Batman are in the same universe as Michael Keaton. It shouldn't even be up for fucking debate.
Well, to me, it's the same reason why you didn't see Brandon Routh Superman.
Exactly.
Because he was the same Superman.
Well said.
Yeah, technically he's supposed to be, even though it's an also-ran or a spin-off of that, however you want to fucking look at it.
It was supposed to be that the 3rd and 4th movies never took place, and then it takes place years after the second movie. Because I remember, because I saw Returns opening night in theaters at midnight, and I remember following that movie very closely, listening for every little tidbit on my AOL account at the time.
Well, that was the whole reason they released the Donner cut at the same damn time, not just because they had the footage, but because Bryan Singer specifically said he wrote his version of Superman Returns off the TV cut of Superman 2, which is basically the de facto Donner cut.
Yep.
At the end of the day, it's all the stuff that got cut out of Donner's version. And that's the way he figured it. The only thing that was different was the Marlon Brando bits, which he saw, and he wrote his version off of that. And the big difference there is that Supes and Lois get it on instead of Clark and Lois getting it on. And I mean that because by the time in the Superman 2 version of the Lester version, he has no powers by the time they fuck. Yeah. In the Donner cut, He does, meaning the kid is a super kid, setting up the whole thing in Superman Returns.
But gentlemen, I have to.
Yeah,
take
you
my
have
leave
to go. You
because
just
it's
you are like at what 3 o'clock in the morning there.
3:05 actually.
Yikes! I think I was being hyperbolic, and I didn't realize it.
Yeah,
Being
no,
dead
literally.
spot on, but yeah, it's
All right,
late
Andre.
for you when we got the morning show. Hopefully, we'll have your review coming soon. If not by
Yeah,
morning,
I sent it to you, so now it's in your hands. Whether you send it to Pablo or what.
I might try to get it done tonight. We'll see what I can do here.
Yeah. All right. Take care.
I only been
everyone.
puking every 10 minutes instead of 5. So
Oh,
Take
well,
care,
step
Andre.
forward.
It's good to see you, sir.
Yeah,
All
likewise.
right, Andre, have a good one, man.
Cheers.
thank you for taking the bullet, even though I'm going to have to go see it myself.
Hey, I'll be right there with you, Tom. We're one
too.
state away from each other.
So for those who
Same
may
time.
be wondering, we are going to talk about this Thursday night. So the show probably will start a little later than normal because I can never seem to find a screening that's before a time that I can actually get to and get back here in time to do a show at a decent hour.
I'm going
I
to see it on
found
Thursday
the
as
ones
well.
at 3:00 in my area. So
It's at 3
maybe
for
we
me
have
too, but I got
that.
to travel an hour both ways, and it's a 2.5 hour movie plus
yeah,
credits.
yeah.
So that
I
means the
always
movie
forget
itself is
you're in
probably going to be
nowhere.
3 hours. So that means an hour there, hour back. That's a 5-hour round trip altogether, if not more for me.
Oh my goodness.
And every time I've timed one of these things, Six will tell you, I've always been a half hour more late from the time I put on the thing, or I've had to have her, Andre, change the times every time because I'm always later than I think I'm going to be. Randall Orser says, I refuse to be another victim of Ezra Miller. Well,
Learn it? Did you want to fight? Is that the deal?
you want to fight about it? I know somebody who might want to fight about it. He's got a cowboy hat and he's coming in ready for a fight. Actually, that's like an Australian hat, isn't it? It's like, yeah, like one side.
It's
It's got,
technically it's
what do you call
technically
it?
a Mexican. It's a Mexican cowboy hat, right?
Okay,
baby?
okay. I just remember
You
I've
got
seen
this in
this.
Mexico from me, right?
Nice.
Yeah, she
What's up,
got.
dude?
Well, how you doing, Mr. President? I think
Hey,
right
buddy.
now would be mighty fine time for me to show my nipples.
What?
That's not how the Force works. Get off my plane.
Did you hear about what happened today? Or was
Yeah,
it
I heard
today?
it. Well, it was yesterday, I
What?
think it was, but yeah. A bunch of trans people showed off their boobies.
Oh, yeah,
on the
yeah,
White
yeah.
House lawn.
Well, it was just one.
And he called
of
them
course,
brave.
it's a Latina trans or whatever.
When was this?
And Biden's all like, "Oh man, I left my dollar bills at home."
Biden
Oh,
called
come
him
on,
brave.
man. Come
They're the
on,
bravest
man.
people we
Man.
ever met.
He didn't realize
I
he
mean-
was home.
So what had happened? I guess there was a Pride Day yesterday at the White House, and
Yes, sir.
this trans person, Rose Montoya, took a photo with Biden, like big old smile, the whole thing, and then maybe minutes later she takes her top off
That's
at
classy.
the White House.
That's classy.
At the White House.
Yeah, it is.
man.
So anyway, we assume you came in here to talk a little bit about Flash because you saw it last night, right? Or night
I
before?
saw it
Maybe
last
somebody
week.
gave her $50.
Or last week. When did you see it? What was that, 6?
Oh, we're
Maybe-
six at.
Maybe somebody
Here,
gave
blow
her
me
$50.
up. Blow me up for 6.
Maybe somebody gave him a few bucks.
I was gonna
No, 50.
blow me
50
up for
bucks.
6. There you go, baby.
Polly takes his shirt
That's
off for
for you.
50.
Well,
You really want me to do this? Oh.
Yeah.
Wait.
Make yourself big, homie. Make
Pull it
yourself
from
big,
the-
homie.
That's what she said.
No.
Do
There's
it
Sadie.
again. I
There's
missed it.
Sadie. What,
Aw,
this?
Sadie
You,
boo.
nobody wants to see that.
I do.
You see,
I like
she's
got a hairy
all
chest.
in-
Your shirt,
got a
dude.
hairy
Your
chest,
shirt's
boy.
Amazing.
Hell yeah, I
Piece
do.
of
I got
what?
like Robin Williams chest.
Are you really
Yes.
Robin Williams?
I love that butthead, the butthead shirt.
Beavis and Butthead is Conan.
That's
Oh,
Got
that's
a hairy
fantastic.
chest,
man.
boy.
I'm so glad you're keeping that cone on. I thought for sure you were going to take it off and she was.
That's
gonna
how she'll
chew the
heal
stitches
quicker,
out.
bro.
She's mad at me.
Then
but-
I was going to
That's
bitch
all
you
right.
out
No.
big time.
No, the one time she got a little leeway,
We
she
have,
she didn't go after that, but she went after something else she wasn't supposed to, and I was like, oh no, you're done.
We have 6 dogs right now in the house. 6.
Cool.
Yep.
How the fuck?
2 of our own. One that's staying us for 2 weeks. One that's with us during the week, and then 2 that are with us for the day. That's our little doggy business. Here's Fiona. Fifi, up.
My goodness, that's like a doggy daycare and a half.
Fiona, the little gorda.
Oh my goodness. Well, if they're all little like that, it's not so bad. But
No, they're all pretty much little. But
like,
this
I couldn't
is,
imagine dealing with two of her.
No,
Like,
no. Sadie's huge. Our biggest one is Ollie. And Ollie's about 50 pounds.
she doesn't do anything quiet, and with that cone on, she's like a wrecking ball.
Yeah.
I've had to move things out of the way so she don't knock it all over. But anyhow, so what do you think of The Flash?
Yeah, 6 out of 10. 6.5 maybe. There's some good moments, but you can tell it was really, reshot, edited. Performances were cut out, like, I mean, I could go into spoilers if you want, but if you want to save them,
We all pretty much have. I mean, there's only been like one or two people bitching about it, but sorry.
No, I mean, yeah. That being said, I think it's going to make a lot of money this weekend.
You think so? They did up the projections a little bit, but still not in any.
The hype
region
is real right now. The hype is real.
What do you think the total box office is going to be after everything's said and done?
Total? Global?
Yeah.
Oh man, I don't ask. Maybe.
I'm thinking like around 4.
No. It should do better than that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I think Sean's more in line, to be honest with you, because that's a little bit better than Black Adam and Shazam did, but I don't expect it to do much better. Because I don't see the hype that you're talking about here, Paulie. Because I've been looking at screenings, like a few of them have been filling up, like 6 said hers has been filling up a little bit, but I've had people sending me theirs, and I've been checking my IMAX in Madison, and it's not. The hype is up. The 645 show looks okay, but
that doesn't mean. I'm talking about hype, right? Like following Sasha Kaya's page, all these other people's pages,
right?
They're people are.
Oh yeah,
really,
I see the advertisements and people talking about it.
But what's funny is that once the word is out that Batman and Supergirl are hardly in this, because even in the short kind of Instagram promos and like the little promos that you see on Twitter and stuff, where Sasha has that line, "Are you ready?" Right? That's not in the movie. It's a lot of.
So a lot of the trailer's not even in the movie, is what you're saying.
No, well, that
or at least one line anyway.
That or what you see in the trailer is what you're getting in the movie.
Well, that's another thing that I've been told a couple of different times is that, first of all, I was told from the very start that not to expect much Michael Keaton in the movie, either one of them for that matter, this or Batgirl.
Supergirl.
And no, when he was because he's in Batgirl.
Oh, in Batgirl. Oh, I see.
That was what I had heard from the very start, is that he got paid a buttload of money for hardly any work.
Yeah.
Well, he came in about, what would you say, like 45 minutes in?
That's what I've been hearing about halfway through or ish, but
and he was pretty much in it the rest of the way.
But like even Ben Affleck joked about his Batman only being in it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Sean, you saw it, right?
Yeah.
So there's being in it, but then there's being in it with with story, with backstory, and
lines and actual beats. Because that's what I had been told is like we pretty much seen every Michael Keaton scene in the trailers, not the scenes in their entirety, mind you, but we've seen all the scenes he's in from what I've heard.
Here's what you haven't seen is him, long haired and retired.
Well, we saw a bit of that. We saw. See, everybody thought that was Michelle Pfeiffer at first, and I'm like, no, that's a dude. That's definitely Michael Keaton.
And did you see the CGI Christopher Reeve image that Flash put up?
Yes.
Yeah,
we've had to confirm. Yep.
Standing next to Helen Slater.
And you know what? Stackhouse, it was a cool moment.
It was
so quick. It was a cool moment. It was so quick, but it was like, what is this weird?
People are griping about the CGI though.
It looks like the Scorpion King level CGI.
Ooh, I wouldn't go that far.
No,
that's what
the thing is.
Gary just said here a little bit ago, actually.
But you know what, Sean? It's like, was that on purpose? Because the whole multiverse had that kind of filter about it, like that.
Yeah.
No, I think they just weren't going to spend another fucking dime on this movie, Paulie.
Well, Paulie, have you seen that picture on Twitter?
Yeah.
The quality, the picture of Christopher Reeve and Helen Slater?
Right.
Like, I know you've seen the movie, but have you seen the picture that's going around on Twitter of it?
Yeah, Flash put it up.
Okay, is that the quality in the movie, or is it just a bad picture?
That's the quality. That's a
Someone
what's a
took that
bad
with
picture.
a camera.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a screenshot.
in the
Yeah, with camera,
theater.
but
you can
it's
kind of delineate
but-
from there what it looks like.
no, but hear me out, guys. And Sean, back me up. This shit is different than when they're fighting in real time.
Yes.
What?
This shot.
Oh yeah, I know.
It's so bad.
It actually looks better than this when you're in the theater.
What happened?
What happened?
Nick's gonna die.
I must have missed it. You all right, Nick?
Smoking.
Poor Nick.
Yes, quit smoking.
Nick, are you sick, bro?
It's been a good life.
He's this movie's gonna fucking be the death of him yet.
Man.
You know, you ever seen
mean-
Roger Rabbit? You know, when the weasels can't stop laughing and they die?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
Better stop laughing.
You know what happens when you can't stop laughing? One of these days you're gonna die laughing like your idiot cousins.
Hyena cousins, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and someone had asked someone left a comment on one of my spoiler videos. Well, do they at least get to ride the the 88 Batmobile? You know?
Oh, the 89.
When they take it off, I'm like, nope, that's the only time that you get to see it.
Probably because the damn thing don't run.
Which that was a huge missed opportunity. I would have loved to see that fire up again.
Well, and that's Warner Brothers' fault because did you realize they didn't even have the damn car for a while?
I'm not
They had to go-
surprised.
There's a whole story about how somebody found because there was 2 Batmobiles for the original film, and they had the one for Batman Returns, but they didn't have the original. And they didn't know where it was at because they had one that was used for one of the Six Flags out front, and then I think it got trashed over the years, so they just threw it away or whatever. But it got to been that might have been the one that was also either that or redone, and Jeff Dunham bought it because he owns one of the originals. And then the other one was from an MTV deal, and the story is so long and convoluted, but the short version of it is the guy who won it, the deal was you win the car, you do this big whole thing, but then the studio buys it back from you for a specific mark because it's buried in the contract that you can't sell it by yourself. You have to sell it back to the studio for whatever specific amount they say. So he got into a big fight with the studio over because he wanted to sell it to somebody that was offering much more than what the studio was going to pay him. And so it went on for years and years and years. And I guess throughout the years, it ended up getting Warner Brothers ended up with it, but then it ended up getting put in the back lot somewhere or something like that and rotting away in a back lot. And somebody found the shell of it with the tires rotted away, but it still had the frame and the outside of it. And they restored that one too. And that might be the one that's in the movie. If not, that one's put away somewhere. But I know they still have the one from Batman Returns Forever and Batman and Robin. Because the one for Batman Returns was a different Batmobile they built from the first ones.
All right, Nick.
So,
yeah.
Sorry for that long. That's the short version of it.
So, with Michael Keaton's Batman, a couple of years ago, or maybe a year and a half, whenever it was, those set photos were leaked from the UK. You know, they're outside of the courthouse. You had Sasha hanging. You had Michael Keaton coming out of a car. Remember, and they were surrounded by. Remember those photos that were leaked? Anyone?
Oh yeah. When they were out in like in front of a courthouse, yeah.
Yeah. So that's another scene that Keaton shot, and he's not in it.
Yeah, this movie, when it does hit disc, I hope it comes out with like a director's cut because I really want to see all the stuff that was cut.
Wasn't there a lot of Keaton stuff that just got completely cut?
I believe
when
so.
it was all said and done.
You can tell there was.
I don't know how much extra because,
And
that's the thing. Because I heard he didn't shoot for very long.
Well, okay, so remember, early word was that Sasha Calle's performance was incredible, and that's when Ezra was that like he was knee deep in all his shenanigans. Where was this performance? I mean, the performance of what she had was cool, and you could tell she's got presence. But man, they really just chopped her up. I think what you're saying right is earlier they might just erase that iteration of Supergirl and start from scratch.
Oh, I think they will, because
I think they already have kind of signified that with James Gunn's whole thing.
Yeah, because when he announced Gods and Monsters a couple of months back, he's basing Supergirl off of a new Supergirl comic. So
right,
it's not going to be Sasha.
Klobby, I think you were bringing up that this is more based on another version of Supergirl actually than it is.
It's the Injustice video game version.
Yeah.
I know where this version came from. It came from the Injustice. Now in the comic
mixed
book,
with Superman,
Superman was basically being treated as like a lab rat guinea pig experiment at Project Superman, where Barry has to team up with Thomas Wayne to free Superman so he could be added muscle to figure out what was going on with the Flashpoint. Now, from what I've gathered from the trailer, it looks like there's a similar thing here. And now Paulie and Sean can tell me if I'm wrong, but it looks like Barry and Bruce are hoping to find Superman only to get Supergirl instead. Is she being held down like a lab rat guinea pig type of thing? Because that's what happened in the book. It was Project Superman, it was called.
Yeah, they just swapped the Superman for the Supergirl in this movie, and it plays out pretty much like Flashpoint after that.
And no reverse Flash.
And no reverse Flash? What is that?
Yeah, Eobard Thawne.
Oh, no, there's a Dark Flash.
There's a Dark Flash.
Oh, Black Flash. Okay.
Yeah, but eventually, I don't know if this was in the Flashpoint comic, is that world is wiped out, right?
Yeah.
General Zod wins.
Yeah. By the end, well, it was more of a thing. With
there is no Zod in Flashpoint.
There was no Zod in the books.
Nope.
Okay.
The whole gist was in the books. Barry and Eobard.
They fucking didn't use one of the. That's what Andre was bitching about, because the most interesting thing in Flashpoint.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, you sit down and you start to think about the time travel and how everything happened, and none of it makes fucking sense. But the only cool part about that movie, or cool part about that story that should have been in the movie, was he was saying, and I agree with him 110%, is in that version, what Barry fucks up is that Bruce Wayne gets shot instead of his parents. So his parents become a crazier version of Joker and Batman. So his mom is the Joker, and his dad is now a much more militant Batman. Like that is kind of an interesting kind of take on the characters, but other than that, there's nothing else that was interesting. See, I like that, Klobby, just as
I don't
would like it,
Thomas, but not for her being a Joker. That was stupid.
Yeah, that was bad. Here's how the
half good.
I could let that slide. If it was Eobard Thawne who made the world that way, because then Barry has to be the one to fix it because of Eobard. But instead,
no, it's its own self.
Barry Allen,
we already knew that.
Who messed up time, which is such an irresponsible move. And that sucks, because that's coming from a character who's a CSI, who's a very sharp man, who even Batman goes to for help. And you're thinking he goes and does that? Like, it's very anti-Barry Allen to do that.
Hello?
And I would roll that better if it was Eobard Thawne. Because like, oh crap, I woke up to a timeline that Eobard Thawne screwed up so bad, I have to now fix it. Because I could say, okay, that at least happened because it wasn't Barry's fault. But it's
I agree with you, Nick. There's no reason whatsoever that Eobard Thawne should not be in this movie.
He should have been. And they could have at least improved. They could have done the one thing where the movies could have done it better than the comics, or make Eobard be the one who damaged time.
Yep.
I could at least say, okay, now Barry can try to fix this. But instead they may continue Barry's irresponsibility. And they are rolling with that. It's like now you have people who are growing up between the show, the animated movie, and now this not Flash movie and the comic book. You have a whole generation of people who now think Barry Allen's just this irresponsible superhero, which he's far from. I mean, he's had over half a century, or sorry, because there's Wally West. We'll say almost half a century, where he's done great things for Central City. He's done great things for the world. He's been a member of the Justice League. He's got a great rogues gallery that more people should actually be talking about.
Oh,
like he's such a beloved character, like amongst Golden Age and Silver Agers. And
how's the Flashpoint animated movie? You recommend it?
I don't.
I hate
and
it.
I
It's
hate
all
it 'cause I
right
like it.
as far as an
It's
adaptation goes,
faithful.
but
It's more
Whoops.
faithful.
It's
I'll
more
give it.
faithful than live action movie we just
Yeah,
saw.
it's more faithful.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
It's more faithful. I'll give it that, but I don't enjoy the story. It's one of those things where I put it this way: I was okay with the buildup in the books up until I saw it was all Barry. Once I saw that
it's
took
a
me
bit of
out
a
of it
mess.
completely. It's kind of
a lot
like
of people like it. But
for good reference, Paulie. It's kind of like when I think if you remember back when WandaVision was new, I had the whole thing that I could be for this whole city's being held prisoner if someone made Wanda do it. Instead, they made Wanda be behind it all along. That's pretty much the compare and contrast I see at Barry. It's just like, why are they making heroes do all these bad things? I don't like that. It's just it defeats the purpose of heroism and finding the idea of the Superman way of there's always another way.
So, Paul, you want me to share this image here? It looks like Mission Impossible, I'm assuming.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's nice.
those are the billboards going up all over LA right now. That's on Sunset, and they're 3D.
Well, Tom was all pissed because he's got to fight for the IMAX screens with was it Indiana Jones and
yeah,
Barbie.
Barbie, yeah. But those are going up right now.
I don't think he's got to worry too much about Indiana Jones. Barbie, he might.
you might, yeah. I mean, it'll be healthy competition. I'm gonna see Indiana Jones tomorrow night with
wow,
Chris Gore.
Yeah, he was talking about seeing that. Yeah, so
Did you say you're going to see Indy tomorrow
Yep.
night?
Wow.
Paulie?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Man, that's you're insider, man.
He
On the inside.
Gore
man.
was like, beware, prepare for the shill media audience. Like,
yeah, you are a shill.
excuse me?
You're the shill now, man. I'm just
Say what you got to say to get invited, to the next one too.
You're such an asshole, dude.
oh man.
No. I guess we're going on to the Disney lot. So this is probably the last time I'm ever allowed.
Oh man.
Bring in some holy water.
What did you do?
Nice knowing you.
I'm Gore's +1. No, it's like, what will I do after I see this
That's
movie?
okay.
Gotcha.
That's what I mean.
Let me know how after the movie goes
Well-
with you two. +1.
Well, I'm thinking of well, obviously we're going live tomorrow night, late.
You know what? You want to know the
Oh,
truth? I think you
cool,
guys are going to
cool.
have
To
similar
watch?
reactions to Indy that you had to Flash. Maybe a little bit less or so, but like, I think that's what a lot of people are going to end up saying. Like, at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, it was pretty much what we all expected it to be. Some of it's not as bad as we thought. Some of it's worse than we thought, but
You
it was
guys
kind
gonna
of
go
cool
live
to
right
see
after
this.
it?
It was kind of cool to see
Well,
that. And yeah.
The Flash was which I didn't know, right? I was a +1 on that one, but that was a Collider event. So it was like all these inauthentic, laughs and claps. And like, really, guys? Like, no.
This is the same audience that went over to watch Ninja Turtles and gave it a standing ovation.
Oh God. Well, I think this is
horrible.
going to be more media.
I would
And-
love to hear some leaks from that if anybody went to
Yeah.
that event, the TMNT one, that is.
I remember
MTV is
one
not gonna
time
do
going
well.
to see the Dodgers years ago, and I don't know how I got in, but it was in the media booth, and I was told not to cheer for the Dodgers. What? Because and I remember I like was like, yeah, and some of these old sports writers whatever turned around and looked at me like I was like a demon or something.
Yeah.
That's weird.
We got a couple
That's
super
weird.
chats here. Billy Badass says, and Snyder's Lois Lane was trash too. Well, here's the thing. I actually thought she was a good choice, but I felt like it was a little too late by the time they got to her. And not only that, they didn't really utilize her. She didn't really do much in the movie. After the first act of the first film, she just is kind of hanging around.
Yeah.
And then when she does get shoved into Man of Steel even more, like, why is she on the fucking ship? That makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
Big props, Amy Adams. She goes.
Yeah, she's a great actress.
She eats at my favorite Mexican restaurant.
Does she? I didn't know
she's
that.
a little cutie. Yeah.
No, like actually, what's funny is that was almost my Sholo back then, Paulie. Believe it or not, because I'm like, back in the day, I was like, everybody's always talking about who should play the new Superman
did you see this
and Lois
link?
and all that stuff.
Sorry,
What's
bro.
up?
Tom, do you see the link that Nick put in there? Oh, that's
one?
from the movie. That's it.
That's really bad.
Hang on,
Six
Chad,
is
it's
like,
coming.
oh shit. Okay, well,
wow,
so
is
let
that
me
ever
look.
bad?
So, do you want any like are you gonna show it, Tom? I can set it up.
No, I don't want to get pulled down. I'll show an image, but I'm not going
Johnson feels exonerated. Knowing that someone
I'll just put it in the chat.
Holy crap!
Because I don't want to get nailed.
There's that thing about picking camera angles that are actually possible to film by human hands.
Yes.
Let me ask Stackhouse something, because
this shot is completely breaking that.
Yes, sir.
Because that whole part of like him running and then all the worlds are colliding and we get to dip into each world, which I thought was pretty wonderful, even though the CGI was suspect. What did you think of the Nick Cage one?
I thought it was, well, first of all, it was fitting because of what was going on in that scene.
Right.
The action was fitting. But I've always liked the Nick Cage suit that has, gone around over the years. And it was cool to see him just for like a split second. But
what about people who have no idea what that's all about?
Well, and that's what I was just going to say. But the majority of people who go are going to be like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, it mean nothing to them.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, you're right. It still was cool.
At most, it was cool. At most, they might remember back to the comics in the 90s when Superman had a mullet and be like, okay, maybe it's like throwing it back to that. I don't know.
That's probably what they think. Yeah.
I think if the real general audience will just say, oh, it's different Supermans, it's different people.
Yeah.
Because you showed the George Reeves, Christopher Reeves, Nick Cage.
Did they show George Reeves?
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh no.
Don't worry, we'll all be fine here. It seems like everyone. This seems to be
I already
the most.
know all the cameos
This
myself,
seems to
so
be
I
the least
apologize.
affected, spoiler-filled movie that everyone's like, "Oh no."
Well, and a lot of people are saying the
spoil
cameos are much to do about nothing anyway. That's the thing, is they're usually like split second quick in that time.
Story, yeah.
Well, and I don't think George was cameo or CGI. I think they just scraped him right out of his intro from a show.
I was gonna say there is some, from what I heard, there's some that are CGI, some that are just straight up. Like the Henry Cavill footage, if it made it into the final cut, is just straight
how
up.
about Adam West? No.
That
was so quick, man.
We already know the answer. That sometimes no answer is an answer.
Yes.
The George Reeves was great because it was the black and white footage.
Oh wow,
that was dope.
Which makes no fucking sense.
Cool. Well, it does make sense.
It does.
Tom. Tom, most of this movie doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Here's what makes sense.
He was in color in the last two fucking seasons, for fuck's sake.
Here's what makes sense.
Jesus Christ.
Here's what makes sense, right? Was
do I know more about the DC universe than the fucking people that make this movie? Jesus Christ!
Well, considering this movie was made under Walter Hamada, I would say yes.
Holy hell! My God! And I like DC, but I'm not even that big of a fucking. Sorry, Klobby knows a hell of a lot more than I do. Nick knows a hell of a lot more. I'm sure Sean knows more than I do about the DC universe. I'm sitting here going, what the fuck?
George Reeves.
I heard the cameo, but I thought, okay, at least whatever. Fuck. Why would you use the black and white footage? That is fucking stupid.
I see what you're saying.
I think that whole universe, that whole world was black and white.
That is dumb as fuck. The last two seasons were in color, Polly.
Dude, take a breather.
I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling at the idea.
No, I know, but
it's like, what the fuck? Come on. Just use the color footage, man.
It really doesn't make sense because it did have like those 3 colors. I think 3 color seasons.
Maybe it was 3 seasons. You're right. Yeah, like midway through one of the seasons, I think that is fucking dumb.
Season show, but yeah.
6, I think right now is a good time for me to show my nipples.
Or 7.
I think is there a bad time to show nipples?
Well, I'm just trying to calm you down. I don't want you to.
I mean, I don't want to see your nipples, but anyway, Mecha Jason, I say 6. Might mind seeing them. Keaton is really riding the nostalgia train. He just reprised his role in Batman, and now he's going to play Beetlejuice again in the upcoming sequel. Yes, he has reached that point in his career that every actor reaches where they say, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do this, I'm old, I need to do this. It happens to every single last motherfucking one of them. The only one it didn't happen to was, I'm surprised Clint Eastwood never went back to Dirty Harry.
I would have been fine with
I'm
that.
surprised.
I could actually believe that. Once again, I'll iterate the line. He could have shown up for a new movie like, it's been 50 fucking years and these streets are still bad. Fine, I'll do it myself. And then he could have actually finished the job that no one in, we'll just say, the law and government had finished.
Deadpool and whatever film it was, 83 that came out. So that was like the longest space, I think, between a Dirty Harry movie. But still, even then, you still can't consider Deadpool like a revival film. It would have been, like 20 years ago if you'd have done it. Yeah. And Paulie is now Andre. Look at that.
Hey,
I gotta get moving, Tom.
Yeah, you do. But Mecca J, this is just a thing that they do, and we're gonna wrap this up anyway. I want to thank Sean and Paulie for hopping in here, even though Paulie stepped away. Check out the Latino Slant. Check out Sean Stackhouse's channel. Check out Clobbering Times. Sean, do you got anything coming up you want to plug?
Yes. Next Monday, I'm going to be doing episode 3 of my Comics and Culture with Alexander Trapp. It's a Trapp production. We are going to be discussing Carmen America, I believe. And it's an independent comic. And the shows are a lot of fun. So that will be next Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Cool. Clobby, I know you got stuff coming up. What's up?
Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central on my Wild Card Wednesday night, the great Michael French of Retro Blasting is going to come hang out with me and have a lot of fun hanging out with my good buddy. And so looking forward to that.
All right. And check out CC Karaoke that for all your karaoke needs. What do we got coming up? Just karaoke on Friday, or you got anything special planned for this week?
Besides that, actually, Saturday should be the first episode of the Doc Danger and CC show, where we're just going to hang out and watch covers and originals by people across YouTube and the internet who nobody's found yet. The algorithm buries a lot of really great talent. People who have like 20 views despite being incredibly talented. So we're trying to dig up all that talent and watch it and comment.
That sounds interesting. I like that.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. I'm looking forward to it.
Cool beans. All right, so check out CC Karaoke and Nick, 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser. What you got going on?
Hey.
I know what you got going on.
Yes, in a few minutes, Toxic Tuesday, Once Upon a Time in Mexico is happening. That will be fun. And Comic Shop Talk resumes this week. I posted a video this week on the Comics Broke Me hashtag, making fun of it. That was fun. And I will obviously be on here and Comics Division channel as well. Those are the guest spots I'm featured on. And you'll find me also as well appearing for Dadman Walking as well. So thank you for having me, chat. And good to be around Sean and Paulie once more. To the rest of you fine human beings, you all have a magical night. I gotta go get ready for the toxicity.
Be good, man. Enjoy.
I wish I was joining Nick on this one, but I actually quit watching that movie in the first 30 minutes, Paulie.
Really?
Why?
I was not a fan of it. I just didn't dig it. It didn't feel the same as the first two.
It's not a particularly well done, all together movie. It had some good moments, but
I love the first two.
I get it, but it really kind of
I was just like, oh, what is this? It's like somebody trying to make a Rodriguez movie.
Right.
But he did make it, right?
He did make it. Yeah. And again, I full disclosure, I didn't get through the whole movie, so maybe the movie gets better. So I mean, and Johnny Depp's supposed to be in it. And I saw him in one scene, I think, in the earlier part of the movie. But I got going. I'm like, but Antonio Banderas and Salma weren't quite acting the same, and it just kind of felt off. Something felt off about it. I don't know what it was. It just didn't capture my interest because El Mariachi just sucked me right the fuck in. Right. That is one of the best independent films ever made for next to nothing. He made it for a turtle and a pack of gum, right? That's nothing. He shot it on 16 millimeter, I think it was, with his friends and shit. And then he remade it as Desperado, basically. And that's an excellent remake. It's a good way of looking at how you can take something and kind of redo it, but also expand on the story a little bit. Because it is a sequel at the same time. But it's
the El Mariachi trilogy was definitely, the first two were,
Who did we just
fantastic.
lose?
Sean had to run. He said.
Oh, Sean had to run. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for being here, Sean.
Later, Sean.
Appreciate it, brother. It's good to have a counterpoint on that, and I'm sure we'll be in contact soon about some other stuff too.
But that initial El Mariachi he did for $7,000 and a lot of family favors. You know, like he
wasn't even that much. I thought it was less than $7,000.
$7,000.
Wow.
No.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I think with his medical experiments, it came out to $7,000. He had $7,000.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and like one of the family members, like one of the guys was able to get a school bus. Fuck it, we'll put it in there. You know,
I love the story of how that movie was made. And yes, Putin, there's a reason I said a turtle, because his book, what the hell's the name of the book he wrote?
Rebel Without a Crew.
Rebel Without a Crew. Yeah, like one of the first things is make what you know and use what you got. I had a turtle, a bus, and something else or whatever, and a guitar. A guitar.
Yeah, but also to the wheelchair.
The wheelchair, yeah. He's like, I had those things, so that's what I used to make my movie.
That was his rolling dolly shot, was a wheelchair.
Yeah. So like, it's a great book. I recommend it. I haven't read it in like 30 years since it came out, but it is one of the better books on how to make. If you're independent, if you're doing anything, it still even stands with digital, right? Because you can just replace whatever he's talking about with filming wise, just replace it with your camera on your phone or whatever. But everything else in that book is an excellent look at how to just make the best out of what you got.
I'd say out of that era, From Dusk Till Dawn is definitely kind of the best.
No, but I'm talking about his book though. I was recommending the book.
Yeah.
I'm recommending his book to anybody who's, even to this day, like I said, the only thing that would be different would be that you just use digital now instead of
people still reference that book. I mean, even Alejandro was talking about that book as well.
Absolutely. So with that, check out Latino Slant. What you got coming up, Paulie? Anything good?
I just put in the chat my spoiler Flash review, which has gotten me a lot of attention. So you know, check it out, see what you guys think, and just new videos. I'm gonna do a video on they had banned low riding in California, and they just unbanned it. Can you believe that?
What?
Low riding?
Low riding was official.
They had a ban on it?
They had a ban of some official bans in a lot of California cities. Yeah, there was even this movement to kind of like stop that culture because it was too toxic. Not making it up.
I believe you.
And but the Cholos win and the low riding is back on. But it's a great article, so I'm gonna do a video on that. That's it. Oh, Indiana Jones. I got to figure out what I'm going to do on my channel.
Oh, yeah.
Because
are you going to go live after you see it?
We're going to go live on Film Threat after we see it tomorrow night. Yes, it's going to be a late one. Yeah.
Gotcha. Look forward to that.
I'm going to see if I can get away with filming as I walk out of the facility and not get...
Excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah, low riding is white supremacy. Yes.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, thanks for. Sorry, I was late, man. Just hanging out.
No. We were just we were saying we know you had seen it, and if you were in the chat, we were inviting you on, and you eventually popped up anyway. So that's awesome, and we're glad you were able to make it. 6, anything you got going on before we get to ActionCom Super Chat here?
Nothing till Thursday night. I'm very much looking forward to talking about The Flash on Midnight's Edge After Dark, and then Loki's Friday night, hopefully. Culture Sunday night. I'm off this weekend, so
cool.
When are you seeing The Flash? 6.
I'm going to see it Thursday at 3 Eastern.
Oh, cool! And a big screen.
Big screen, yeah. Mikey and I have a virtual date. He's going to see it at the same time.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah. So I guess it's going to suck, but
you never know. You might like it.
I'm going to have some good popcorn.
Popcorn will be good.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, I really am. Whether I love it or hate it, I'm looking forward to talking about it here.
I'll be in the theater the same time as you, just an hour off, and so will Tom. So
yep.
We'll all be there with you.
Good. And I want to thank the mods, D-Bud, Martin, Willie, for doing the heavy lifting tonight.
D-Bud.
Got us.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was muted.
Stephen from Deleted Scenes. Thank you to all the mods.
Yes, indeed. And with that, we got ActionCom here sending $5. It says, how would you compare Chris Reeves CGI with the Nuveen Super Bowl commercial where Reeve was shown walking around the Academy Awards using CGI? I don't think I've ever seen this.
I've seen that.
I've seen it. It was pretty bad, but
yeah,
I don't remember
I think better than what we just saw.
a good number of years ago on the Super Bowl ad thing. Yeah,
trying to remember.
That was quite a while back.
I don't remember that.
But the thing also too is,
was he still alive at the time?
No.
Oh, okay. That's still kind of.
But it's been a good while though.
It's worth a Google.
I'll check it out after the show. We got to wrap this up, so I gotta edit this Flash review. So yeah, I better get to it. All right, kids. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Thanks again, everybody on the panel. Make sure you check out everybody's channels. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other.
All right, everybody.
And don't forget to check out our sponsors as well.
Oh, you guys got sponsors.
Yeah, Flip City.
This magazine is... This magazine is...
Take 6.
This magazine is awesome! It's funnier than the last It's funnier than the last editorial I read from Scott Mendelson, says Tom Connors. Sign up today for Flip City Magazine. It's hilarious, humorous, and all kinds of other synonyms I can't think of at this moment in time. Flip City Magazine. Use our special code MIDNIGHT to get 10% off. Get it digitally or in paper form. That's right, we killed a tree